The gang
Finally,
is all
bro.
here.
The gang is all here.
The gang is here.
Once again, this is the only time we get together anymore, guys. We have to do this more often.
I know we hate each other. I hate you.
More World Cups. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yo, let's do this for Mania World Cup. I know a lot.
Yeah, get your
so much.
out of here.
All right, we're good. We're good. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I talk a lot about catch.
My mental's chalked.
Yeah, sorry,
all right.
my bad.
It's all right. It's okay. I just will never forgive you.
Shelly, I'll love you just for this one Pride stream if you can host. Yeah.
All right. Respect. We are back with yet another prediction stream. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for yet another year of the OWC World Cup. It is 2025. We've got fresh graphics, fresh teams, and a mostly fresh group for predictions this year, the day before qualifiers results get released. So we're running a little bit late this year, but we're going to get things done. It's fine. None of us have looked at the lobbies except for half of us, so we're not cheating whatsoever.
Surely
in
not.
This prediction right now.
Surely not. This is so rigged.
Not at all. Zero previous information.
It's all right. Half of us are not poolers or organizers and have extended information that we should not have access to. But that being said, predictions are going to run the exact same way they have in previous years. Dio, do you want to give the overview of how this is going to work since you've been so kind as to set this up?
Sure. We're going to be going down a randomized list of teams in a random order. In fact, starting with one of our debuting teams. As we go down the list, we're each going to rate them where we think they will place overall in the tournament. Not in terms of qualifiers, or though for our DNQ teams in terms of qualifiers, but for every other team in terms of where they will place overall in the tournament, not just their qualifier standing. We'll give a short or sometimes long talk about the teams, depending, and each of us will have our own placement appear next to us in this little white box. From there, once we've decided on a collective placement for the team, they'll go in the list in the center of the screen, right down there.
The run is set. To reiterate, the most important part of that, in case anyone missed it, I see some people mentioning it in the chat, completely random order this year. We're not going by country code. We're not going by name or anything predictable. We're going to keep you all on the edges of your seat for the entire time. There has been minor manipulation to this list to make sure that we're not getting like previous top 5 teams back to back to back. But other than that, this list is completely random. I think we literally just moved around like 2 teams. So we're gonna see how this works this year, and maybe everyone's just gonna get completely thrown off. But if anyone else doesn't have anything they want to add, I think we are in for a bit of a long one today. So I think it's time to jump into our first team of predictions for this year is North Macedonia. This is their OWC World Cup debut this year. They have a fresh roster of 7 players, not quite the full 8 this year. And I think, I won't speak for the group, but new teams and not being a full roster, generally a group that we have put in the realm of not qualifying for the tournament. And it seems like the group is unanimous in agreement with this.
Oh, God.
Next.
Shout out Dark Souls. That's one of my OGs, actually.
Shout out my goat Stu.
Shout outs. Congratulations to North Macedonia for having a team this year. We wish you the best of luck in your qualifiers run this weekend. Next up on the list, going through into team number 2, past North Macedonia, is going to be Turkey. This is a team we've seen come up in name many times in the past, with one roster switch this year and a full team of 8 having qualified last year in the placement of 19th. So pretty high on our list.
Man. I'm really bordering between like 2 positions here.
I'm going to say 13th to 16th. I think they still have a lot of very good players. I think a lot of other teams have gotten slightly worse this year at the top. And I think they could very easily, especially if they as long as they don't get an unlucky draw, I think they could be a pretty good shot for 13 to 16.
Yeah,
the top
this Turkish roster. Yeah, they have a lot of really strong mechanics players, and they're one of those teams. Wait, what's Is my interneting?
I think
No,
your
no, no,
internet
you just, like-
you just talk right over Aaron, which is very
just went,
comedic.
Wait, I just go
Aaron's
over
and you
Aaron.
just full
This
on
happens
just
every year.
start.
It happens every year. It happens every year. Okay, well, okay, fuck me.
Oh my
The boys
god.
are back. Fuck hidden top 16.
Hell yeah.
All right. I mean, that's 4 people for top 16. I feel like top 16 is really, really tough this year. Like, I think there's actually big competition for it, but apparently Turkey consensus is up there. Okay.
No, I agree. I think
Just a
like,
start
I
at the
get
very least.
hype. I get the hype, and I mean it's pretty much the same roster as last year. And Turkey were definitely a team with a lot of potential, especially with how much like the big individuals improved. Shinkaro is playing on the team, which is great because we were initially thinking he wasn't going to play, and he was like the big surprise carry. Obviously, Raikoho exists. He's literally like European faker. It's essentially the same deal with Turkey, except teams got weaker, so you can expect them to get a little bit higher this year, hopefully.
A quarterfinals team
16 last year, so
yeah, quarterfinals.
Yeah,
They made it
well, there
to
you go, then.
round 2 quarterfinals, actually. Yeah, so
I
they
know.
were,
Fuck yeah, I'm miseducated.
and they
Oh.
lost to Poland 6-0-2, who is a team we are going to cover in detail later. So good run for Turkey this year. 13th to 16th is the unanimous selection. Moving on to our next team on the list, number 3 is Slovenia, a complete roster switch from the last time they showed up in a World Cup this year. What are our thoughts on a 100% shift here?
Did they just like choose not to sign up?
they-
I see 0 new
Throwing
players on the
everyone
team.
to no one.
Yeah, unfortunately, no team for Slovenia this year. Good luck next year. Just a quick. We have Slovenia here
They
just as a
replaced
quick.
everyone on their team with John Cena.
Exactly. We can't see them. This is not meant to be BM, by the way. This is just commiserations to Slovenia. Better luck next year in filling out a roster.
Yep.
They did
Best
their
of
best.
luck
Wait,
to
what's the exact
Slovenia.
story here? So what, did they just
They
like
just didn't
sign
sign up.
They just
They just
didn't
don't- yeah, they don't
sign
have
up.
Sign up.
They
That's-
just
that's
didn't
all
have
there
a
is.
team this year. Yep.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I don't have the numbers up of how many people signed up for each country, but if I did, I would read that out to you all. So Slovenia.
it's not DNQ. It just does not exist.
It does not
It's
exist.
just
Yeah.
well, I
mean,
would say it's fair to say
you know,
they will not qualify.
Yeah,
with
they
this
also will
roster
not
this year.
qualify. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So Slovenia, best of luck putting a team together for 2026. Moving on to our next country on the list is Lithuania, a team that we have seen multiple times in the past, coming in with 3 roster switches this year that are actually looking fairly good, with the unfortunate disappearance of Fibeth this year, who is one of their stronger players. Could mean some difference for Lithuania in their performance in the World Cup this time around. They were pretty respectable on the list in terms of teams last year, 47th, so a little bit out of our top 40 qualifying range that we've extended to for this year, but there is a chance, potentially, with these roster switches, that they surprise us.
You
Or
know, I think.
No, I'm gonna say unfortunately not.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
there is a chance, but unfortunately, there's a lot of other teams at the bottom of like who were last year between 33 and 40 who improved a little bit. Also, a couple of teams above 32 that actually got worse, and I think don't qualify this year. But there's a lot of teams around or slightly better than Lithuania that actually got better, and I don't know if that happened enough for Lithuania to qualify, so I don't have them in qualifying, and I feel like that's probably the case for everybody else here, considering everybody else put them in DNQ also.
I think for me with Lithuania,
They have
like,
an old player coming back.
I would have put them as qualifying
Audrey.
if Fibeth was still on the team, to be honest.
Yeah, they do have got old players returning as well,
Yeah.
but this is just, it's a tough fight this year. There's a lot of teams that got better. There's a lot of teams that got worse, and Lithuania, in the eyes of this group, seems to have not put together as strong of a roster as necessary to just squeak those last 8 spots in.
Yo, did you
So-
shift? Did you shift, Chilio? Did you go from qualifying to DNQ?
Shiba, are you smoking something?
What?
Man, I don't know.
On God, you
DNQ.
shifted.
Yeah,
I
no,
swear
we're
to God,
you know what,
I get
actually,
hallucinations.
first
hallucinations
place-
out of the way now.
First place
don't gaslight me,
Lithuania.
bro.
You know what, guys? They're in
No,
this year.
Ah,
It's
right,
Someone
fine.
needs to look at the VOD and
All right.
tell me I'm not
Anyway.
trolling.
Up on the list, Lithuania, Dina and Q, best of luck in qualifiers this year. Next team up on the list, we've got Team Greece, another staple team that shows up year after year. They have played a significant number of OWCs in the past and only one place above Lithuania last year out of qualifiers, 46th overall, but a pretty deep team that has large amount of tournament experience. Is that enough to push them up those 6 spots?
I mean,
I think so
is
this year.
the GOAT.
I mean, yeah, and they have another GOAT this year too. Puyu is insanely improved since last year. And, you know, teams that have 2 really hard carries tend to do pretty well in getting through in these, like, on the lower end of qualifying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess a lot of people think 30 to 40. I think you know, they do have some good players, but they qualified 47th last year. I don't think the kind of 2 new players are going to change much personally, but I think they do definitely have an outside shot. Like I could very easily see them qualifying, you know, 39th, 40th, something like that.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat as you, iFlame. I know Puyu had improved as well before I made that prediction. And actually, in my pick'ems, I have them DNQ. But earlier today, I got a DM from another team that I thought would just barely get in, saying it might not be the year for this team after all. We shat the bed sob. So I am now putting Greece in my top 40, and I will be moving that team down a tier when we get to them later on.
Insider info. Okay.
The insider trading. It's insider trading. There's a couple teams.
Mexico, Dennis.
There's a couple teams that we'll see. We'll get there when we get there. But it looks like a qualifying run this year for Greece. They've got some staple tournament players that are here year after year. And everyone seems to think, besides iFlame, that means that they squeak in this time around. We'll see.
Ooh, iFlame.
Who comes iFlame? No faith. No faith.
Someone's got to be the villain.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's going to be the villain.
They're going to do it, dude. I think they're really motivated.
Yeah.
I think they're really motivated as well.
They might be. Who else? Someone's got to be motivated. Is going to be Croatia.
Jibak
right
Mama
now.
69. That's the best username of the tournament so far.
This is a team who has lost their 8th player this year, actually, made about half their roster switched out, and I think there's only so much the Fart Lord can do when it comes to OWC performances. So
that's a crazy statement. But
there's only so much the Fart Lord can do. I mean,
so much.
What a statement!
There's only
they have Misto as well, but like
it's
I don't know if
Misto
Misto's gonna do it himself.
The Fart Lord, like there's only one.
You know, they were 62nd last year, and I think that's just a little bit out of the realm of possibility of improving into a tough year of OWC. But you never know. You never know.
I will also say 2 of their top 4 performers are 2 of the people who swapped out for Croatia from last year. So yeah, it's rough.
And not having the 8-person roster is just a death sentence in OWC. Like,
my Angel Shimon is Misto as well.
Has a team ever qualified without an 8-player roster?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't recall that ever happening. In my 6 or 7 years of like dealing with this tournament, I don't think I've ever seen a non-8-player team make it through. So
yeah, good.
Tough run.
Croatia.
Yeah, tough run, Croatia. DNQ is your placement for now. Next up on our list of teams is Taiwan. This is a roster that has had more than half of their players switched out. Some of them a little bit sad to see go, but I think that based on what I've seen from some of these new players in the past, as well as some of their newer up-and-coming additions, such as OWC2025, this is a Taiwan that is coming back into form this year. They were 25th overall in qualifiers last year. They made it all the way through to the quarterfinals, where they unfortunately lost to a very strong Turkey team, and I think that's just enough to push them back up to where they were this year at the minimum.
Yeah, I mean, getting...
love...
All right, whatever. It's just gonna happen every time. It's just gonna happen every time.
You go.
Every
time. Flip a coin.
Every time, bro.
I swear to God, I'm talking first on my end. But okay, Chillier was not lying about this Ethan2222 guy. He FC'd Warcry in ROM AI against Chillier, and I saw that screenshot. And also Riser. Riser is one of my favorite players of all time. Like, seeing him come back, seeing Spines Knight come back, and Willie, if he's still playing like he did, I think Taiwan is poised with a good bracket to get back into top 16 where you would traditionally expect them.
I don't know, Aaron, what do you think?
I mean, I was just gonna say that, like, you get Riser back, you get Spines Knight back, you get this Ethan spawn dude, you still have Willie. They had like a surprising run last year. I don't know. I feel like they've improved their roster from last year. They got top 25, so they move up to top 16. It's like they could. I mean, again, like it's super logjam this year, right? Everywhere from friggin' like 12th to 24th feels like just flip some coins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
like there's so many teams that can finish in any spot in that range. But hey, Taiwan top 16 seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have
Oh yeah,
Taiwan
Gaohao's
right
a
on
big team
the
ranker.
border personally. I originally I had them at 17 to 24 range, but I was not aware of Ethan's ability, so that might move them up a little bit for me. But again, I do think really a lot of the 13 to even to 19 is incredibly close this year, and it is probably just going to come down to oh, that's the wrong button. It's just going to come down to
Or is it?
bracket.
Number one.
Close enough.
Remember when Taiwan
There we
won
go.
OWC, guys?
Yeah. I had this team actually yesterday when I was doing predictions. I had them in 25-32, but I think with some of the actually, you know, I feel like I have to stick to 25-32 just because I don't really know that I can see them beating a lot of the other teams that I have above that in top 24. Which, like last year, for example, their matchup versus Malaysia was very close. I also have Malaysia in top 32. I understand that there's some different players this year that have helped with improvement for them, but I also think that losing players like Summerwo and Meowson and Imikura is going to also be a negative. So these new players have to be better than that, which apparently this Ethan person is. I know Gaohao is very good. Riser and Spines Knight coming back is good. There's chances for them to do much better than that, but I don't know. I'm not Dada. All right, I'm not Dada.
I'm gonna say I did see Taiwan's
I absolutely am.
tryouts results the other day. Willie is so ready for this tournament, like more than I have ever seen before. That guy is gonna come in full force this year. So I'm excited for Taiwan, and it looks like averages out to 17th to 24th for Taiwan this year. We will be slotting them in after much deliberation here. I think that's where we end up evening out to. Next up on our list of teams following Taiwan here today is going to be
Somebody.
the UK.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for the UK with one
Okay.
singular roster switch this year around. They've got a very strong team that is returning. Haunt is an unfortunate loss for them, but Plasma is a very, very good add for them. Excited to see what this team has in store for us this year.
When the fuck will the Canadians learn, man? Like, you made the same mistake
What
last
does
year.
this mean?
You're gonna
That's
do it again.
crazy. That's crazy to
year.
call me out immediately. How about you put your own up, and then I can flame you for putting them third? How's that, Shiba? Let's put
see
yours
your
up.
Yeah.
predictions,
Let's put
Shiba.
yours up.
Listen to me. Do I
Last
go
year-
first or do I wait for you guys?
No, go first. Lead
Go
us
first,
off.
Shiba. Go Shiba.
Okay, listen. Last year I said UK top 4. I quote, UK top 4 is actually so doable, no cap, end quote. What did we see? We saw UK basically get bordering top 4. The only reason in my mind why they lost to Germany was because Mahmoud fucked his hand because he was egoing 900s and Akolibet forgot his area. If we hadn't done that, we could have beaten Germany and we could have definitely gotten top 4. It was doable and I was right. This year, UK top 3 is actually so
No
doable. No cap. And listen, I'm telling you now, Haunt is a fantastic player. And it's a shame it's one of those situations where it's upsetting that you lose a good player like Haunt, but it doesn't matter because Plasma is a massive, massive player to be on. He is going to be a huge universal upgrade to the team, add so much more skill ceiling on top of that. And I think just generally speaking, the team's improved good over time. I think especially players like Skia, who's just gotten a lot more experience over time to playing. And the rest of the team, you know who these guys are, man. Fudge and Mahmoud are still incredible. And I mean, I think this year is going to be even better, especially considering some of the biggest teams in this tournament are going to be downgraded. I think this year UK have much, much better odds against Germany and definitely good odds against Korea. Australia, depending on map pool meta, definitely also a winnable matchup in my mind. I think third is optimistic. I think fourth is reasonable, to be honest. And that's my take. UK can definitely make top 4, and I'm very optimistic. So I'm putting top 3.
I'll say I think top 4. That's a fair take. Top 3 is crazy. There's no chance there.
Yeah.
But look, I'll say this year it feels like 4 to 8 is very coin flippy. There's that kind of 4 teams in that range or 5 teams in that range that, based on the pool, based on the bracket, could end up either 7 or 8th or 4th very easily. Yes, UK, they did get 5-6, I think, last year, but they beat Canada in the tiebreaker. They very easily could have ended 7th to 8th instead. I think it's going to be the same this year. I just think it's going to shake out. I look at the other rosters, and I think I do slightly favor the other teams in that area. I mean, potentially spoilers, future predictions, but a team like Germany could even, I mean, a little biased, but Canada, I would give slightly higher odds at 5th, 6th. So we'll see.
Yeah, I basically just
Come
have
on.
a 4th and 5th place, like a top 5 that I think are very locked for this year, and then 6, 7, 8 I think are more of a toss up. But I think 4th and 5th are like completely locked, basically, and I think top 3 is also a lock for 3 teams. So my 6, 7, 8 is all kind of a toss up, and well, out of the 6, 7, 8 teams, I think I'm putting Canada as the last spot in the top 6. So UK by default goes in the top 8 for me. Do I think they can get top 6? Sure, but like I don't think they're getting 4th. Also, I think 4th place is locked for another team, and I think there's like a definitive 5th place team also. But I think UK is still very good. We saw that last year. They'll continue to be good.
All right, Aaron, you or me?
Someone's face.
I don't really have anything to add at this point. So I mean, if you have something to add, go for it.
I have stuff to add. And it's more about the mechanics of this team, like in its creation. So UK, they having Plasma as their upgrade is so huge because him at his best is going to bring impact to the level of like Hyuk being added to South Korea. Like with the gimmick lean on this pooling team this year, having one of the best gimmick players in the game, in addition to him also being one of the best aim players in the game, in a year where a lot of teams in that 5th to 6th, 4th to 4 to 8, honestly, in that tier seem to have side graded or downgraded, UK is putting on a huge upgrade. But the one place where I do fear for them is they need their speed roster to hold. Because last year they were probably like the 4th or the 5th best speed roster, and they really just need to hold on to that because I think they're going to be picking into like that aim and that gimmick, but they need to be able to still win on the speed and the high mechanics. And if they can manage to do that and take some break points, I could see them getting 4th. That's just my opinion.
I want to like slightly expand just before we close. I think the UK last year, they had a big like duality with both mechanics and with gimmick and hidden. But for me, I think with Plasma being a big upgrade, not only does it add more versatility, but it adds a lot more explosiveness in their core. And on top of that, UK really were not playing at their peak. They were struggling with a lot of inconsistency early in the tournament, be it because of the pick strategies, be it because of their mental at the time. I think if they are remain consistent, which I believe in this year, looking and knowing the team, being able to get to know them personally, they are definitely much more capable this year of being a lot more consistent and really showing that ridiculous potential that they seriously have. And of course, Plasma's absolutely incredible. He's an amazing player.
So I'm going to quickly, since I haven't said anything, add on to what Sheba mentioned, because that was going to be my main point about this UK roster. Their picking strategy, God, I love everyone on this roster, is their number one downfall. The United Kingdom of any top-level team in all my years playing tournaments for the past 8 to 10 years has the most inconsistent, terrible picking strategy I have ever seen of any team. They don't pick into their strengths. They don't pick into the other team's weaknesses. They gamble. They go on what people are feeling on a certain day instead of being prepped and ready to go for a specific lineup of maps. And it hurts them very, very badly because their players then come in unprepared. They're not ready for the maps and they panic when things don't go their way. And I think that's why the UK continues to underperform on a placement that they probably should have been able to hit a really long time ago, that they were able to hit for a while off of raw talent. Now that they're getting that talent back, they also need to get the strategy back in check and stop gambling so much in matches, because I thought on every cast last year, that was our number one thing we talked about, was that the UK was a wild card with how they picked on any given day. So if they can reel it in, the UK's got some serious hopes this year with this roster. That's my like addendum.
You are simply of a mental plane below.
So you guys done with
Lord
the
and
app or
Savior.
We gotta move
No,
on.
I want to keep
Yeah, Chili,
going, Dio.
Chili was
I
a
would like to be
Usume
done
player.
before-
Let him fucking
Yeah,
nap,
alright,
dude.
move on.
You have
This
to be
guy
out of
just
here
wants
before
to listen to
midnight,
Usume,
guys.
man.
All right, the UK has been settled. They are in 5th-6 for now. We will move on to our next team to spare everyone else on the live stream. Next up, following the UK, is another big team that I thought I moved from right next to the UK earlier, but I didn't. It's Germany. This is a team who continuously shows up in the top 4 or top 3 for a very long time now, and they've made some roster switches, except for last year where they sort of got knocked down a little bit from previous years, but what are we thinking for the switches with White Cat and Aoff this year?
They just go top 6 because top 4 is locked.
I think
I
for
don't
me,
know,
it's hard, bro. It's hard. Go on, Aaron. I start before
No,
you go.
I feel like this is that tier where there's literally like 5 teams competing for the spots from, I'm gonna say, 4th through whatever. Like, it's just anyone's game, and they go into that 5th, 6th. I think they're a little better than a couple of other teams that I have in mind, and they're a little worse than a couple of other teams that I have in mind. They're bringing back a super proven roster, a lot of really experienced players. They're just continuing. The one thing I'm really curious is like the giant like feedback to their roster release was, well, they have like 7 mechanics players and Batball is pooling this year. That was like the whole thing. So I'm curious to see how the pools will end up suiting this team. That's going to be a big question mark as to how well they can end up performing. On raw skill alone, they'll get like top 6, but whether they get 6th or like 3rd or 4th will be dependent on what the pools end up being like.
Mm-hmm. And I want to just add one thing. Their worst skill set is their best player's best skill set, and Kriller is like the 3rd best player in the tournament in my eyes. So if they do get to that late stage, they're going to be getting maps where if the other team isn't really confident on it and they're going to try to gimmick abuse them, Kriller can just solo carry. And people are really underestimating players like Yari on gimmick as well. So like you just need good stuff from Kriller, okay stuff from Yari, and the rest to survive. And they might be able to take breakpoints while still being dominant on mechanics.
I don't know. I'm really worried about Germany because I feel like off raw firepower alone, they really can go far. But I think they're making a bit of a wrong meta read here. I think Germany are relying too much on sub skill sets because there are too many. Like, I know it's like a meme, but there are too many mechanics only, like primarily players. But like, how are you going to be able to flex as hard on this when you could have had players like Ahoff, who was very flexible in early stage, and a player like Whitecat, who it's fucking Whitecat, man. It doesn't matter if he doesn't practice that much or if his mental's not there. Like, bro, get him on the team, bro. I don't know if he refused to play. I could be wrong. If he refused to play, then whatever, that's fine. And also, I feel like players like Stellasu and who was the other player? Lion could have been such a great addition to this team's flexibility. And I think that's the issue that I have with Germany, is that the moment they get to a setting where ceiling on versatility is going to be tested, they're cooked. They are cooked. They are not going to be able to set super high scores on the majority of maps aside from their main strength in mechanics and aim and hard rock.
Yeah, I'm guessing Whitecat just didn't try out, which is completely fair. You kind of got to go with the people who actually are
If you
interested
didn't
in
want to play,
playing
then fine.
OWC. But again, like you said, I think, yes, they're very mechanics focused. They're still going to be good enough to beat 80% of teams in the tournament, and I think they should have a pretty easy time getting top 6, unless they get a really unlucky bracket. I could see them ending 7th to 8th. But again, if they get a good bracket, they could end up in 4th just as easily. So I think they're a lock for top 6.
Shout out Kriller. Kriller's my girl. I love
Yeah,
that
they
guy.
need Russia in their bracket. That's how they get higher. If they get
Oh.
Russia,
Oh.
if they get Russia in
Germany,
their
you're in
bracket.
your own.
Ooh.
Dude, it always happens.
It begins.
That's
It
every year.
always
Oh, it
happens.
begins.
Like, I'm not even shitposting.
It is a known
That's just what
quantity,
happens.
but it is true. No, it's there
It's
is some
kinda
weight
true,
to it
though.
and experience, but yeah. Dio, anything else to add, or are we confident with the 5th, 6th Germany this year?
I mean, I'm confident with the 5th, 6th Germany. I do think this is like the solidly 5th place team. I think this is the bar for being one of the top teams in the tournament. If you're better than Germany, you have a chance of winning. And if you're not better than Germany, you will never win this tournament. And you have a very, very, very tough road to getting a podium spot if you are not better than Germany. This is the gatekeeper to top 3. And I think there's surprisingly more than 3 teams that are actually better than Germany this year, which is not usually the case. I think Germany usually would just be 4th, but there's an extra team in the top 3 this year. So Germany down to 5th, 6th, where they would usually just be that kind of gatekeeper to the podium.
You heard it here first, folks. Germany is the top 3 floor, and they will continue to be that team for quite some time moving into the future, as they are in 5th, 6th right now overall placement based on roster switches. Next team up on our list to try and keep moving through things for you all today is Malta. Congratulations to them on their World Cup debut. We are going to move a little bit fast through the teams that are non-full rosters because, as we've gone over in the past, these teams generally do not have a very good time in qualifiers just from not having depth. So congratulations to Malta. Huge congratulations for a country this small putting together a team of 6. That is a fantastic feat. We wish you best of luck in qualifiers and hope to see you come back in future years of OWC. Next up on our list, another big ticket name, Hong Kong, a staple of the tournament scene in general. Major roster switches this year. A lot of them that I am not super happy with personally because of the strength of the players they are losing. And I think this is a big wild card year for Hong Kong. They do have some good additions. That's not to say players like S2E23 and Revenge Wolf and Tsukime are not good additions, but they are losing a lot of talent in players like Suwagi and MCY.
Dennis, what do you know?
I mean, I think I think this team is just still really good. I don't really understand the top 24 for Hong Kong. Hong Kong is still going to be good. They still have Hibiki. Misha Awa has been absolutely insane this year. If you have been paying attention to anything that he's been doing, really. F2X coming back is still going to be a good player for them. The Ming on this roster is a very good rank restricted tournament player. Revenge Wolf is a very good rank restricted tournament player. So I think there is a lot more potential than most people are going to give them credit for this Hong Kong team to continue to be a top 12 roster, even without MCY4 Suwagi playing. And I think, people forget they qualified in 8th last year. They should still be able to do pretty well, even without MCY4 and Suwagi on this team. And I think if they had those two, I would be considering them top 8 over some of the other teams that we have there, which is pretty crazy. But this is still a team that can absolutely get to the semifinals weekend in losers bracket.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, with the losses, they finished 9/12 last year, had a solid performance. But for this year, I don't think they're going to be 24th or anything. I think in my mind, I have them like 17th, right on the border of that 13th, 16th, 17, 24 rank range. I think they could very easily be either one of those. I think with the obvious losses of Swag and MCY4 that everyone's already mentioned, I think it's going to be a pretty big hit for them. And I do have a few other teams I think are just slightly more likely to make it to that semifinals 9-12 spot.
I can't bump this any higher. I think I know people like saying like, oh my god, just because MCY and Swag get gone, like doesn't mean they're that bad. And sure, like their new players are good, but I'm sorry. From my experience watching this team, MCY4 saved this team's ass so many times when they should have lost. And I don't know, like some of the upgrades are good. Misha Awa is great. But including that, we haven't talked about Max Biro. He was another really solid player for this team. He may have not been like Misha Awa, but he was still great. And he's also gone too. 3 of your best players from qualifiers are gone over top 3. And the next player down after that is in the 3 digits. I can't side with this. I hope for the best. I really do, but I don't.
3 digits carry OWC teams, man. I don't know if that needs to be your benchmark.
No, 3-digit qualifier individual placement.
You should look at the United States and South Korea for that one.
Individual qualifier placement performance. I'm talking about.
Yeah, but this is overall. This isn't qualifiers.
Like you go from like 29 to like 130 something. From what I remember.
I respect the really drop, but like this is the same thing we see with a lot of other teams where you make roster switches, you lose some of your really good players, but Hong Kong has gained back some extremely good players as well. Again, I went over F2X, Tsukime, Revenge Wolf, even Ming. There's a lot of talent that they're adding to this roster, and I think it would be doing a disservice to a team who placed top 8 in qualifiers last year to drop them more than one bracket down. I think that's going really far.
I feel like MCY4 is too indescribably good of a player for the changes to make up for the loss, unfortunately. I really hope they do well. It's never about disliking them, but yeah.
I will say, just in the interest of time, it's been 35 minutes. We've gotten through 11 of the 65 teams. So in the interest of
6
time,
more
we should
hours.
probably speed this up so we're not here over 3 hours. So let's speed it up a little bit and move on to the next team, shall we?
Poor Hong Kong. No full discussion. Congratulations to them for making a team for OWC again this year. Next up on our list is going to be Finland. Big roster switches this year. Major additions. Savilju, Mike Tyson, Kalanlu, Allard. There is some serious talent being added to this team this year. Finland was a team that qualified in 23rd last year and continued to maintain some of their very strong players. No doubts in my mind that they will not be able to maintain that.
Yep.
Finland are like. Oops, sorry. Finland are like they're a consistent investment no WC. I swear to God, I always start talking before on my end. But okay, I'm sorry. They're very consistent at getting in and winning a match, is what I was gonna say.
I'll say Finland has been 17-24 5 years in a row. I don't think the roster changes this year will change that at all. So it's a pretty easy lock.
Congratulations to Finland for once again putting a team together. Anyone else with anything on these roster switches or otherwise? I'm going to forcefully make this faster now.
Oh, he changed back, by the way.
Pronounce the second
name. Yeah, it is Zapay now.
He changed back.
Yeah, it's
so
Zapay again.
Did they name change back?
Yeah, he named change back to
Zapay. Thank
Zapay.
God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, congratulations to Finland for making some serious upgrades this year. And, sad to see a lot of these players go. But what can you do? Strong as usual. 17th to 24th for Finland this time around, it looks like.
This year and all years to come.
This year and every year forever.
Forevermore.
Okay. Honestly, it's a good spot to be in. The perma qualifiers is always a good spot to be in. That's comfortable right there.
You always make it.
Yeah, exactly. Next up on the list, the UAE making a switch out this year, adding in one player with a lot of their staple team sticking around. Still got Suri, still got Silryu. So a couple good players still existing, but this was a team that qualified in 50th last year, and a unanimous agreement from the group here. Well, not so unanimous as you see it, but DNQ for the UAE again this year. Congratulations on putting a team together, and best of luck in qualifiers. We hope you can squeeze out those last 10 spots if you have a good day.
Real quick,
Next.
I do know a lot of people were actually thinking about like UAE being a qualifying team. I think just unfortunately, there's a lot of other teams that are slightly better and that improved their rosters, whereas UAE, I don't feel like really did that, and so probably won't qualify very quickly. Thank you. Move on.
Tough stuff for them. Good luck to UAE. Next up on our list of teams here is going to be the next country, Philippines, a very strong roster. Unfortunately, losing one of their better players this year in Milk Tea Zim to the pooling team. Ha, he's ours now. And some maintaining roster on here. This was a team that qualified in 9th last year, also placed really well. Do I think these roster switches are enough to kill this team? No. Does it hurt them? Absolutely.
Yep, I think, the roster switches definitely hurt. I think they kept some of their key players. Nathan Ram is the big one. And I think Nathan Ram should be, at the very least, able to carry them to a 13th to 16th minimum. I think 17 to 24th, I'd be pretty shocked. I think they're another team that's like, I could see them 12th. I could see them 13th personally. But I'm betting on Nathan Ram.
Problem is they were like a 3-player roster in late rounds last year, and they lost one of their best 3 players.
Yep.
So their skill cap just dropped.
They beat the Ukraine and TB in quarters too, which in the Ukraine's an amazing team, but if you're squeezing a team up into the top 12, you can't be going tiebreaker in round 2 quarterfinals. That's really touchy against those last teams that are left.
Also, there's no one in 25 through 32 yet. No, go on.
I think Miltism is the biggest loss, but I think Imposter and Scene as well were really solid players who were a bit not be able to be in the spotlight, but were also solid for this team. So it's a bigger loss than it looks for me, for Philippines. I love Nathan Ram, but the rest from what I've seen were not inconsistent enough for it to really be warranted. I don't think he can carry this hard. Okay. I hope for the best.
We have an even split here between 17-24 and 13-16. Chili, or heads or tails?
Oh, heads.
Oh, damn.
That is
Oh.
Tails.
Got a
17-24 for now.
All right,
Hey!
17-24 Philippines.
Yes.
We wish you the best of luck in qualifiers and maintaining your high placement through quarterfinals, such as last year. Moving on to our next team following the Philippines is going to be Singapore, staying in Southeast Asia with one switch here. A team that qualified as usual last year. They qualified in 28th seed. They played all the way through until, I believe, the round of 16 last year, unfortunately, which seems to be like it is going to drop them as our first 25th to 32nd team. T1G, do you want to lead us off, as you're the one who hasn't put in a placement yet?
Oh,
Maybe, I thought you were just thinking a little bit, maybe.
I misclicked. I had to look at last year. No, yeah, I think if you're 25 through 32 last year, like with the new format, this is where things start to get really kind of awkward. Is like anybody in the 24 through 40 range, because it's going to depend on like who gets drawn into your group and how well you play on the group stage pool. Because we haven't had a group stage pool since 2018.
20.
Yeah.
18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2018
It's like
was the last
something
time.
we haven't seen in a really, really long time. So it's a very different sort of scenario nowadays. And I don't know, Singapore's a pretty good early stage. Where do you, if you like seed, oh God, I don't want to turn this into like a super analytical thing, but if you get into the first group, or if you get into the first pot of teams to go into groups, and then you get top 2 in your group, what do you seed?
You are
If you make, like,
automatically
if you make
top 24.
challengers?
Top 24, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're challengers top 2, yeah.
Yeah,
I
if you're
see a
in
lot
the,
of-
that's
if
what,
you're in
that's
the
what
upper,
makes things
Make it.
interesting.
yeah, if you're in
That's
the
what
upper
makes
set
it
of
a lot why they make
groups
it,
and
yeah.
you get top 2 in your group, you are
I don't think they're gonna
automatically
do
top
that out of
24. But
quals.
I don't think that happens.
It's tough. It would be tough.
That would require them to get top 24 in quals.
Yeah, also.
I mean,
Oh,
not
like possible,
Well,
but-
this
impossible.
quals does not guarantee seeding a group stage, because the qualifiers pushes the seeds to the groups, but outside of groups, the groups reseeds the teams for the bracket. So
So wishy-washy. bro.
depending on the placement in the group, they could go somewhere else. So it is a bit of a wild card for Singapore, and I do think a good group would work well for this team, because moving into that round of 16 pool would be really nice for them. So it seems like 25th, 32nd is pretty solid for them here, though.
Yeah. It
So-
could be 7 to
Lock it
24,
in.
but depends on groups.
It's tough for them. So Singapore, best of luck to them. They always look good coming out of qualifiers. Let's hope that they've got just as good of a time in the bracket this time around. Next up, following the Singaporean team, is going to be Portugal, another team that has played OWC many times in the past. Qualified in 45th last year, unfortunately missing the bracket. And Miles, you're going to kick us off, because you seem to think their roster switches are enough to push them in this year, despite losing Seat Ibiza and Just Too Good, and so does Shiba.
I mean, they still have WhatsApp. They still have Rafamet, both great players. I may have seen their results already, but also not everyone has played, so that doesn't actually determine anything. But they're going to do it for Maki. This year, they're going to do it for sure.
Do it for
With this
Maki.
format, they've gotta.
They lost 2 of their best 3 players in qualifiers last year, with Mizuru and Alfred the Salmon both not playing this year. Those were 2 of their 3 best from last year's quals.
Yeah, losing players and improving other players, it's like that 50-50 trade-off where, like, is the improvement from
Oh, no,
the
my
really-
thing... No, I'm lying to you. My sheet did Control F in the wrong order. That is
I was going to say, like, is the improvement from your existing players enough to make up for losing maybe depth in a more experienced player? That's always the tough spot here. So we're 2 for 33/40th right now, and 3 for DNQ, which means that, Aaron, I'm sorry, you are the tiebreaker.
I'm just gonna make it 33/40. That actually
There
doesn't
it
make
is.
That makes me the tier.
Okay,
It is.
I have a
Gonna
coin
do it.
again.
Right.
Aaron, this
Yeah,
time
Aaron,
heads or
They're gonna
tails?
do it. They're gonna
All
do it.
you lefties not having faith in Portugal, unbelievable.
There's my coin chat. It's a toonie.
Here's the coin.
Aaron, heads or tails?
Yeah, it heads.
Oh God. Okay, heads. There we go.
Yeah.
They go into 33/40 for now.
33/40th.
go.
Congratulations to Portugal for qualifying for the tournament this year based on a coin flip.
I mean,
Let's
look,
go.
that may as well have simulated the actual qualifiers, because realistically, I think if they qualify, they're like 38th to 40th. So
Yeah, they are.
and
They're a close team.
They're on the border. They're on the border.
Yeah. So congratulations, Portugal. Well done putting a roster together once again, despite having half roster switches. Next up on our list following Portugal is going to be slowly Ukraine, another 4 roster switch team, losing some very nice players, gaining some very nice players, and a team that qualified in 22nd made it all the way to quarterfinals round 2, losing only in tiebreaker to the Philippines. I am just gonna go ahead and shove them right in the same spot they were last year.
Yeah, I
They
think
got Dench.
Ukraine. Dench is huge. That's the main upgrade for me. I also think I don't necessarily think they're going to qualify 13th to 16th, but the last 2 years at least they've done a really good job of outperforming their qualifier, and they've beaten some higher seeded teams somewhat convincingly. So they don't always show up for qualifiers, but when it comes to the actual matches, when it comes to the actual tournament, Ukraine always seems to show up, and I think they're gonna secure that top 16 again this year.
Okay, Miles,
Losing
give
Raph
the
hurts.
Doomer take, please, and then I will give the Hopium take.
The hope call.
The
Let's go.
hopeful take. Okay. So, I mean, the hopeful take just depends on how good the new players are. But the way I see this is, yes, you're adding Dench, but you're also losing, you're both losing Sherry Tori and Raf GPO, who are 2 guys who would be almost perma lobby for them in other years. Get loved as Raf GPO. And those are just big losses, so I move them down a tier. That's pretty much the thought process.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dench is actually does my here's the hopeful process. They beat Philippines or lost to Philippines in tiebreaker last year. Dench, I think, is better for those types of scenarios than Shari Tori, based off seeing them on the same team in other tournaments besides the World Cup as well in previous years. I think when you add Erema and Artem onto this team and No One Loves, I think that can make up as well for RAF GPO. They've had a good other set of core players, so I feel like if they get a similar bracket to last year, they can actually push into the top 12 because they were very close last year. But clearly, they're going in top 16 on our list.
Yeah,
Very confidently.
Ukraine are mid-bracket demons, bro. They are mid-bracket demons. If they get into the middle of the bracket, they are absolutely capable of getting much higher. I think this team is huge aura, and they're great vibes too. They are a good bunch of friends. I like this team, so I hope they go
Great
far.
tiebreaker team as well. They
Agreed.
love forcing
Oh, yeah.
tiebreaker, and they love winning the tiebreaker. That's something
Except
they
against
do.
the Philippines.
Except against the Philippines.
Against the Philippines. In fairness,
All right, shut
Philippines
up.
was a
Shut up,
crazy
Julio.
roster last year.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't know. I
They
think
really were.
unanimous agreement. 13th to 16th. Ukraine is a great
Or close
bracket
enough.
stage team. So best of luck to them for continuing to move through in the same place as last year overall. Following Ukraine is going to be Chile, with some roster switches this year that I know some people are not particularly happy about. They did add Sifs, they did add Lasse, but this is a Chilean roster that has a lot of wild cards outstanding here. They made it all the way through to the semifinals last year, qualified in 7th overall. Our question is this like a 1-place difference switch? Is this a 2-place difference switch? It looks like it's split. My God, down the middle. I'm gonna
Are you gonna make me flip a coin again, Chillier?
They lost.
I'm gonna put them where I
Okay,
thought
then,
they would be.
They lost Matt.
Dude,
They lost
Alfeu is
Suntan.
literally a
Suntan is
cheater.
rough.
Yeah.
Alfeu is a cheater. That guy is so good.
Yeah.
But they lost Suntan. That's like Philippines losing Nathan Ram, bro. Especially in mid-early stage, where you want this team to guarantee.
Why is every
themselves
team's
top 12.
roster switch like Philippines losing Nathan Ram?
This team will not be able to consistently set good team scores in upper quarterfinals, maybe semis. They won't be able to do it. They don't have
What
the
if they do?
versatility
They
and
don't
the
need
supercarry.
to, though. They just
They don't
need to
need
get
to.
to winners quarters
I
or
don't think
beat
so.
other teams in losers bracket quarters and then lose in top 12, right? That's all they need to do. And I think this team can do that. They don't need to scale. And they have players who can play those lower star rating pools. Alfeu's been a demon this year. Chalk Gamers, Gonza, number 37 are still really good. That's still 5 really solid players. Lassie, Sifs, and Hanayume are all good. I had to do I had to look very deeply for unrelated business at a Chilean tournament recently, thanks to some unrelated duties.
Okay.
And
I had the
Dude,
opportunity to
it's
view
nut
this
shit, bro.
data.
I had the opportunity for some insider info. And, Matthew, Nakore, Suntan are all better players than Hanayume, Sifs, and Lasse. But it's not like those players are bad. They will still contribute to the roster. They will still put up good scores. And they will still be able to get, I think, top 12. I think anything beyond that is copium. But I think top 12 is very reasonable. And top 16, if they have a bad bracket or if they have just kind of a bad run, I think could also definitely happen.
Man.
Yeah, definitely in
beam
one of
your
those two
nerd
tiers, in my
glasses,
opinion.
man. Oh, do I change? Do I cave? Do I cave to Dio's nerd glasses,
I
bro?
mean, it's already
It's
already in top 12.
It's already there
I'm a
anyway,
fence sitter,
yeah.
bro. I'm a fence sitter.
All
I'm sorry, iFlame. You're alone now. You're the villain.
No. All right. Vibes lost. Vibes lost.
Vibes lost.
Yeah, vibes
Well,
ruined.
Vibes lost.
Get you
All
out of
right.
here.
All right.
Aura lost.
Bandwagoner.
-5 aura.
All right.
moving
Well,
on.
Chile, 9th to 12th. Well done for putting together a team again this year. Next up on our list is going to be Spain, moving back over to Europe with only 3 players returning from last year, joined by some pretty good additions to the roster this year. However, a little bit sad to be losing Antonio off that roster. Definitely one of their stronger players, but qualified in 26th last year. They did end up losing, unfortunately, in the round of 16 in tiebreaker to Finland 5-4, which did drop them down to the lower side of that bracket. But these roster switches are a bit of a wild card, actually. You never know what's going to happen with 5 players swapped.
Yeah, it is a lot of roster swaps. There's a lot of uncertainty. I think the 3 players they kept are some of their better players. Obviously, Antonio is a big loss, but
Aaron, bro.
that said, they've been a very consistent 25 to 32 qualifier for the last 4 years, and with this roster, they should still be good enough to. They'll probably be on the lower end of that range, but they should still qualify top 32. And for me.
They have to get into groups and they have to make it through groups. That's my idea for this team. So it's like they just need top 40 and then they're going to be fine on that 6.7 star pool that's going to be played in groups. And I think they're going to make it out. That's my opinion.
That's a good shout. Making it through groups is 25th to 32nd above. So, that's the benchmark is, do you think this team makes it through groups? And I just can't willingly put Escrapulio, Aleph, and Baby Scylla not making it through a group stage. Like, that's a great trio, especially for Gimmick, too. Although Escrapulio, big aim.
I just think this team, the roster just kind of blew up, in my opinion. Like, they just lost so many good players. Like, Antonio, Bairechu, Creator, like, all of those players were still very good. I think they're not as core as, like, Escrapulio and Manolo, especially, but I mean, that's 2 of your core members just completely gone, and I think some of your better support gone as well. But I feel like I feel like they just kind of blew up a little bit, which is why I have them a tier lower. But I can definitely see them getting out of groups if they get a solid draw.
I think if I'm looking at like other rosters here, you could I think Spain is at like the absolute top of 33rd, if not bottom 32. If I was to have to coin flip, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I can't discount the losses being is huge, man. Like Antonio and Creator were like the reason they were able to push far in the qualifiers and able to take two DT maps off Chile, by the way. Just saying. That was kind of goated. And there was partly because of those 2 players.
Do they win a match this year? Do they break the curse and
they will win a match this year? They will win.
They will.
They will win
a match in groups.
They will go 1-2. They will go 1-2. They are 1-2 team. That's my opinion.
I agree with that.
Okay, that's fine.
Win.
So the definitive moment is they're gonna win. Are they gonna win that second match? That's the linchpin right there.
Or do they get a 3-0 team and triple 1-2? They can also make it out that
in
way.
improvement range. They're in improvement range. The roster is like the players that are sticking around are getting better. They almost won a match last year in the round of 16 against Finland, and if they just push that little bit extra through group stage this year, then that might be their chance to get through. So it looks like 25th to 32nd, unanimous agreement here going to be for Spain. Best of luck to them through qualifiers and through that group stage, unless for some reason they pull top 8th, because then really good luck to everyone else.
Buena suerte, mis hermanos. Buena suerte, mi hermanos. Viva España. Let's fucking go. Oh my God.
There is Spain. Next up on our list is going to be none other than our first North American team,
yes.
Canada, going to be rolling in here with
Good,
two
good.
players sticking around from last year, joined now by some very new faces. If you're around the tournament scene, you've seen some of these faces either in previous OWCs or for their first one in regional tournaments, otherwise losing a lot of that strong roster. But this may be a different Canada than we've seen in years past, Dio. And iFlame. I always forget there's two Canadians.
Yeah. Look, when I first saw this Canadian roster, I thought I was kind of doomed about it. I was like, yeah, this is probably the worst roster we've seen from Canada in a while. They're going 7/8. Then Redlock happened. It was a Canadian 1v1 tournament hosted by yours truly, Dio Stong. And it was a pretty high SR pool. What was grand finals, like 8 stars or something, Dio?
It was about 8.2 stars, realistically.
Yeah, and
yeah.
it was Wanderio versus TS Fury, who I believe is Nujabes. And so both of them absolutely put up some crazy scores on an 8-star pool. I think Wanderio coming over from Hong Kong is a huge addition for Canada. And so I think the addition of Wanderio TS Fury should make up for UK. It's the kind of thing where it's like they're in that kind of range where they could easily get, 6th, 7th, or 8th, but I have them just squeaking into that top 6 spot.
Dude, stop, Miles, stop, bro. don't say it, bro. Oh, dude. Go on.
It's
Speak.
Wanderio time. It's Wanderio time this year. Like, I will unapologetically gas the hell out of this guy. Was so good in every single tournament I saw them in this year, on top of the two staple players that are sticking around with, Jay and Zudi. Pink Eye Fan has been turning some heads within the region. Yip is just the best tech player in history for literally any gimmick skill set as well too. And, Sparkly Fairy being added into this roster, just adding on to it. Steam Happy Nujabes. I mean, you lost big names. You lost staple, you lost the name brand soda, but you gained back the bespoke, small batch cocktails. I don't even know how else to describe this roster, but that's what it feels like. You gained these niche players that are really gonna, hopefully, I think, bring Canada into their next generation of being able to play OWC, because the roster was getting very old. Players were starting to maybe step away from the game a little bit, and there was uncertainty about how Canada was looking in the future. I think it's great that they did the refresh now.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, Miles, do you want to go or do you want me to go? What do you want to do?
Mine is pretty quick. I'll go really quick. So I see there being 4 teams in a deadlock in this tier. It's UK, Canada, Germany, and South Korea. I think are deadlocked in a 4-horse heat kind of. And you could put those in almost any order, depending on who you believe in more. They still have Xylus and Zudi, who are always going to do well. It's going to be Wanderio and TS Fury who take them into the future to potentially even getting higher than that. I see them in the middle of the pack there. I think they're going to go 5-6. Everyone's really good.
I think for me with Canada, it's the ultimate investment roster. The common narrative that we had with Canada, I think after their prime in 2021, is that this is the ultimate early stage upset destructive team, right? And honestly, it's even bigger this year. Some of the new additions that they have, I think one mention I wanted to have was Birchman. He is a new player coming into this team who is also really, really good. He was stomping teams in lower rank restricted. And I think he's going to put the same value into that with early stage. And to see Wanderio improve so much, including Yip coming back, I think is warranting for me to put them 7th to 8th. My problem is, for me, I'm unsure if they're going to be able to contend against China and Russia. For me, those are my 3-team deadlocks. Those are 3 that I'm struggling with. If I think they're worse than Russia, I put them 9th, 12th. If I think they're better, then I put them 7th, 8th. And I think they're better. I think I'm going to put them 7th, 8th. They are a really cool team, and this is probably one of the most exciting ones to watch. I can't wait to see Canada. I think they're going to be really cool to look at.
Well, unfortunately for our 7th to 8thers and the doomers on the list, 5th to 6th is going to be the placement for the Canadian roster this year, despite these switches. Best of luck to them through the qualifying stage and the first round.
I'll just very quickly,
somebody's gonna have to get moved.
Somebody will have to get moved eventually. But real quick,
my mind,
I haven't spoken
yeah,
yet. Can I speak on Canada, please, for 1 second?
Sorry,
Thank you.
go,
No.
Thank
go,
you.
go,
No.
No, I don't get to speak. Okay. Most people have said things already. I don't even think this is investment, though. I think these are just 8 of the best players in Canada. You have a really good core roster. Basically, the first 4 players on this team are the core roster and will be in for most maps. And the next 4 are your fill players and specialists who are in for whatever is needed. They have a very, very well-built roster, and they also scale up to both TS Fury and Wanderio. So Wanderio and Nujabes had 400k average on an 8.2 star pool. So they scale very well. So I think they can most definitely get to finals. And that's all. We'll move
Nice.
one of these 5-6 teams down eventually. We'll have to figure out which one it is.
Yeah, we'll get there when the time comes at 7 p.m.
It's not
Eastern.
UK.
So stick around, everyone.
It's not
It's
UK.
time for following Team Canada now into the future, going to be Team Puerto Rico, a team that is debuting in the OWC World Cup this year. As we've seen in the past with debuting teams, it is very, very infrequently that they are able to make it through. But it's, major congratulations. A lot of these players on this team have been wanting to, get back through here for an OWC for a very long time. Unexpected, I think, at the top of that list, been around tournaments for a very long time. So well done to them.
The next 2 are 2 teams that unfortunately were not able to make a team for this year, and so will be DNQ by default. Those are the Dominican Republic, commiserations to the Dominican Republic, and also Panama, commiserations to Panama on not being able to make a team this year.
Best of
Come on,
luck
Hammy.
next year. Best of luck next year. We did also steal part of the Panama roster for pooling, so
True.
we're just taking
Come on,
people
Robo.
left and right. It's all good. All right. Next up on our list after the teams, there is the United States smack in the middle right now. 2 roster switches. Utami, gone. In is Caleb and Ethan Tricks this year. If you're not used to the name changes as well, Caleb 2 Window Life has name changed back, as well as Godskin Noble Pez returning for this year. A very strong roster for the United States. A 2nd place finish last year against South Korea, and 3rd place out of qualifiers. And it looks like the majority of this list, besides somebody who is objectively wrong in their
Shiba, you go
placement,
first. 'Cause Shiba's trolling.
Guys, you all think
that's
they're
like
winning?
objectively
Yes.
impossible. What do you mean 4th?
Bro,
What do you mean
we
4th?
fucking trolling,
What are
man.
you
Guys,
smoking?
Listen to me.
You-
Listen to me. So for me, UK or 3rd, that's locked, right? It's either 4th or 2nd. It's either 4th or 2nd for me. I can't put 4th because there's another team who I think are winning.
Like,
Really? It's
I know.
unanimous?
Listen, I know your
You think
government.
UK is better
I know
than
your
the
government.
US.
I know your government took away
Yo,
your internet
guys,
access, but what
guys,
is this,
oh,
bro?
Guys,
Okay, yeah,
Guys,
Shiba,
I'm
show
not
me your
this
digital
based.
ID before you
Show
speak.
Shiba, where is your digital ID right now? Like,
no, bro.
authenticate
Guys,
to
they're a
speak.
good team. I get it. They're a great team. Okay. They
I don't
can
think you get it. You
you
put them in
is better.
4th.
You
no,
put UK ahead of
listen,
them. That's crazy.
They're not. They surely it's not announced that they're winning, man.
Okay, but why
Really?
4th? Why 4th is my question. Like, why
Okay,
not?
okay,
Why not
it's
2nd?
not-
It's
not
top
that.
2
It's
at a
not that.
minimum.
Okay, it's not that I think like they are locked in to be 4th. I
Then
just
why
feel
put
like
them there?
when I have the looking glass, I think Australia are stronger. I can't put 2nd. I think UK are 3rd. It's between US and UK for top 3. That's my take. But I put UK
That's
3rd because I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. And I
All
was
right,
last
United
year.
States is 1st overall. Shiba's
I
done
was right
speaking.
last year,
T1G,
and
your
you
turn.
were wrong, Chilia. Stop talking.
Shiba.
Listen, just
You're
because you
talking
made a
about-
luck, just
We're moving
because
on.
this guy made a lucky hot
Luck.
take doesn't
Lucky
mean he was
hot
right.
take. It was not
right,
luck. It
take
was
it away, Aaron.
true
You're up.
faith. Don't even.
I
Aaron,
don't know.
your
I
turn.
mean, like
They're a
USA is
great
gonna
team.
have like a historic level of chip on their shoulder, right? After finally being dethroned last year. Like, do you think anybody on this team wants to lose any, like, even the 0.001% chance? Like, no way in hell. This is gonna be like the try-hard team of all time. And also, I think the team environment is gonna be like infinitely better this year for reasons.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Also, Ethan Tricks is the freaking truth. Like, you guys don't even know how good this guy is if you haven't seen him play. Like,
Tricks
that
is
guy's
so
so
cracked.
good.
Okay.
That guy's so good. And just, I mean, look at the rest of the roster. Like, I will say I was a little surprised to see the final roster being what it was. I kind of thought we might. There was the hopium in me that thought we might see Vaxay on the team. There was the hopium in me that thought we might see Joel on the team. But as it stands, I think it's a pretty well constructed roster. I think they're very good at some of the things that the teams they're directly competing with are a little worse at. I think is something that USA kind of spec'd into this year, with kind of going super hard into some of the gimmick stuff. I think that's going to serve them very well. I do think that, it feels to me like top 2 is just super duper locked, and I wouldn't be surprised to see either them or the other team in those 2 spots winning. Like, it wouldn't shock me. But USA just feels like they're going to be super, super locked in this year. They're going to have a really good environment this year. They've got a really good roster for what I think a lot of people are kind of anticipating the pools to be like. I actually think top 3 is super locked, but I think the top 2 is also. I just think USA is just like that little bit better. And I don't know.
I've seen their qualifier. I've seen their qualifier.
Yeah, I've seen their qualifiers.
Yeah, we all watched it.
Yeah.
And I watched it. Taquito's stream.
I think USA are a top 3 team. If I was to be able to have both UK and USA in third, that's what I would do. So I'll do this.
You think
just
that's the team competing with the US is insane.
That's
insane.
We're moving on.
That is the most. That's copium
let Miles
at that
talk.
point. Miles, go.
All right, I'm not even doing the bit this year, so you don't have to have me wind up and then go into the big hate-fueled rant about how they're the best fucking team ever made. But the mechanics for this team is that they are taking the crown that South Korea left when they lost worst HR player and Hyuk, and now they are going to try to be the best gimmick roster in the tournament. Yeah, but Paige wasn't on the gimmick roster.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fair.
So they want to take that crown, but they're retaining their DT dominance, maybe to the point where they're going to be able to breakpoint it against those top teams later on in the tournament. And I said almost the same thing for the UK. This team, they brought in Ethan Trix. They're going to try to use him to his full potential. This team is extremely good on free mod, especially. I could see them picking every single free mod. Ethan Trix on hidden free mod is just so scary. And then Rectigon, Hard Rock, they have such good fills. And one player who we haven't mentioned yet on this roster really is Caleb, who I think a lot of people weren't expecting. He has maybe one of the most unique fill roles I've ever seen. He's going to be filling precision, high-end speed, high-end gimmick, no mod 2. He's just kind of going to go in there to be a high skill cap 4th for them. And I'm really excited to see where they go this year. And I agree with Aaron a lot. They have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quick. I think you guys covered most of everything. But this is a team that, last year, South Korea roster was one of the most stacked OWC rosters in a very long time. And US still got 5 points off them in the first match, 4 points in the second one. And they've kept their entirety of their core. I mean, Utami and Kama are very good players, but they've added Caleb and Nathandrix to make up for it. They're going to be just as good, and I think they should be winning this one.
Team environment this year is impeccable. For anyone saying they're not good at speed, they 4-wayed both DT1 and 2 in qualifiers, and DT1 is a burst map this year.
Leaked.
So I don't know.
Leaked.
They live streamed it. It's not even a leak.
They'll be
They
fine.
did live stream it.
They did live stream it. That's not a leak. So yeah, no, they are more than fine on speed. They are one of the better speed teams in the tournament. And they are also one of the better or best gimmick teams in the tournament with this roster. And the team environment is way better than last year. There's much less pressure to not lose than there was last year because the streak is dead anyway. So they can focus on winning and being a good team rather than not losing and preserving a legacy like last year, which I think is way better for this team environment. They all get along really well. They will win. They would have been the best team anyway, even without that team environment buff. But with it, they're going to win almost assuredly this year. I give it a 70% odds that they beat the one other team that I think can beat them.
I still find it insane that it's unanimously everyone else except me. That is crazy.
I don't find that insane.
I don't find that insane.
I don't find it insane that a 4-time previous winner is back to number 1. Go United States! First place again!
All right, we better move
I am
on.
an unbiased organizer.
Moving on.
Next up is Malaysia making one roster switch this year. I'm, for one, very sad to see Wuha step back from the roster this year. I don't know if they didn't try out or if they didn't play, but not not something that makes me feel happy inside. But I still think Malaysia's a good roster this year. Is this enough to, push them like all the way in? Maybe. Their roster that they kept is really good. And it looks like that's unanimously
unanimous.
the case. I know.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So
We're actually
unless anyone
unanimous
has
this
anything-
time. Actually,
unless anyone has literally anything to
Your
say
full circle guarantee.
about their newest roster addition, then I think that's just an instant 25th to 32nd for Malaysia.
Yeah.
Congratulations for once again putting together a good team. We wish to see you well in the group stage. Next up, following Malaysia, is Estonia with some major roster switches, including their captain switching out and losing a significant amount of their previous roster and dropping from 8 players to 7 players. Gentlemen, we know what that means most
It's
of the
the
time.
curse.
iFlame isn't here,
iFlame's
but
gone. He couldn't handle it.
I don't think
if
it
anyone
matters,
thinks
unfortunately.
otherwise, yeah, I think Estonia, unfortunately, this is just a tough year for them.
They imploded. I'm not gonna put it lightly. This team actually imploded. What? No Ansem, no Revo, no Sedru, no Abyssal. What? They're all gone. It's actually. I think this is, unfortunately for the players playing this year, I think this was probably Estonia's worst year. So unfortunate.
So tragic for Estonia. They will be moving to DNQ through this prediction stream. Next up on our list following Estonia is Romania with another major set of roster switches. However, this time they did maintain a roster of 8 players. They switched out Rolly for Badu, which is a player coming back that I didn't think would ever play in OWC again, personally. They did lose Nanaya this year. They did lose Lucrece this year, and they did lose Sylvian. That's some pretty serious roster switches for a team that qualified in 16th, a pretty good spot last year, and did make it through the bracket stage all the way through to quarterfinals weekend, where they did lose to Poland.
So for as like allegedly good and I think pretty true good as the US's team environment is this year, is that how bad Romania's team environment's going to be, or have they sorted that out?
Ooh.
What's the vibes like in Romania? 'Cause
There
I
was-
guess-
understanding-
I have
My
equal knowledge of what
understanding
happened here.
Is that it's pretty bad, but I don't know if any of the players that made it bad are actually on this team, so it may not be bad. I'm genuinely asking.
There is some elite ball knowledge that some people in the community may have about the current mental of this Romanian roster that, I will not share on a live broadcast, but it's gonna be fine, I feel like, based on what I've heard, but I think it could be up and down depending on what happens.
Julie, am I right in thinking the same as you, where one bad player gone and one good player gone, or
It
is that
depends,
different?
honestly. And I think a lot of what happened with Romania in the past was just how the pools worked out for them, because I think they just felt, especially talking to Badu for a long time, they felt stuck for a little while, I think. And I just wonder if losing a lot of their longer term depth is gonna put them back in that spot.
Yeah, because I remember there being an incident last year with Romania that caused a lot of conflict within the team, but I don't know. I don't know if that's affected into this year. We'll see.
According to chat right now, according to Twitch chat and all the people there, the vibes are good. So I'm assuming that they will have a good time.
That's great.
That's
I did not want the
Romania
vibes to be
players,
bad.
so-
I did not want the vibes to be bad.
Yeah.
I was just hoping they
Yeah.
weren't.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're upgrading, just purely upgrading with Badu. It'll be a really nice addition. I have them in 13th to 16th. I think if the vibes are bad, 17th, 24th, very reasonable, but doesn't sound like they are. So I think they could play slightly higher than that.
Yeah, I think I have them over all the 13 through 16 teams, to be honest,
13 something is definitely
as of right
reachable.
now.
It's reachable
That's
for
fun.
sure.
Mhm.
I think
I-
I'd say
I-
Yeah, they're
much top
good.
half.
Yeah, I think it's possible on both sides. I can see them going either way. So, best of luck to Romania this year. It looks like 17th to 24th for now, but depending on what teams go where, maybe we move things around. Who knows? But moving on from Romania is going to be our next team, Kyrgyzstan, who is debuting in the World Cup this year. A little bit of news: they will not be playing this year. They did skip qualifiers. So even though this is their debut year, it's literally not, because they didn't play at all. So sort
Unlucky,
of
go next.
50-50
Good
on
luck
that
next
side.
year.
Yeah, unlucky, go next, Kyrgyzstan. You know,
Go
we
next,
wish
brother.
you best of luck in registering for a qualifiers lobby. That works for
Dubskis,
you
baby.
next year. Next up on the list is Team China, another powerhouse that shows up
Big
year
one.
in and year out. I do have a little bit to say about this roster, but I'll let everyone go first. I think this is a team that could do well, but they were 13th in qualifiers last year. They made it through all the way to semifinals last year, if I'm not mistaken, losing only to Canada, by the way, in that like upper side. So a very good roster last year. But you know, I will let everyone else go first.
I think
Lido Fox
If nobody else
is
has anything.
Jesus this year. They have pretty much the same core as before, with lacking motivation for one of their core members. So I feel like Lido Fox will probably start to take over that moniker a little bit. To me, that means they're going to be right on the border between 9th and 8th again this year. So yeah, reasonable takes, gang. Good job.
Yeah,
I
and
think
If you watched
Go ahead.
Hippo Cup 8, you will know.
Oh yeah, Lido
That's
Fox
all
is
I'm
Jesus.
saying.
yeah,
Lido
Watch Hippo
Fox.
Cup 8, you will know.
yeah, I do think there are 8 teams that are better, at least on paper. I think China, if they just get a little bit lucky, they could definitely get into the top 8. But I think we're going to see pretty similar performance to last year, and maybe they can find an upset or something.
I do feel like with the return of all, like everyone kind of being together, and I think as well, just generally speaking, with some of the improvements, especially with Ludofox getting a lot better, I think this might be like another sleeper run year for China. I think there's definitely a possibility where they actually go on like a crazy good potential run, you know, minus fear this time, you know, like there's actually a good chance China could make it a lot further than we think. And I
Do
hope
not
that's the
speak
case.
that name in my house.
I have hope.
No.
I have hope in China. I really do think they can make it. Yeah, I think at peak they could maybe go top 6, but 7th, 8th is a much safer position for me. So I'm definitely thinking that's going to be the range. But
I will be
at
back in
peak,
just a moment before we move on to the next team. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you know, this is I'm gonna give like the TLDR of what I've been told. I talked to a lot of the players on this Chinese roster, some that have been here for a very long time, some that are like so old that it's insane. And what I have gotten from the vibes on this team is, and the reason I put them in the same placement as last year and not improving, despite Lido Fox being amazing and a lot of their players, like especially David being one of the best players in the tournament last year, actually was like #1 overall for 1 week last year, is that there was a lot of uncertainty about if this roster would even come to fruition this year from a couple of their players, and whether or not that they would even be able to like field some of the people we are seeing here. And I'm hoping that that doesn't speak doom for the motivations on this roster and that everyone is just ready to go this year. But that's sort of what's keeping me reserved back to that 9th to 12th spot, is like, are these players in the form that they have been in years past? Is Crystal going to continue, gunning for things? Is David going to keep up the gameplay levels? I know Karumi has stepped away from the game very significantly over the past couple of months and has not been online quite as much. So I think that rightfully there is a bit of uncertainty here, but by no means does that ever put China down and out. This is a team that will continue coming back like a phoenix every year.
Yep.
Aaron, since you're the 7th, 8th gang, any other takes? Anything extra?
No, it's the same thing. Like I really feel like that kind of like 7th through 12th kind of range is any of those teams can go anywhere. It's just who plays against who on what day on what pool and how well they're playing on that given day. Like the margins are super slim. But I saw them in Hippo Cup 8. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
I saw them in
see a lot
Hippo
of
Cup
potential.
8.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
potential
it's
in this
possible.
team.
Dude, we need a grudge match this year.
They
we need a
were
return of like
they were 1 map away last year, man. Like 7th, 8th
Yeah,
is super
top eight.
possible. It's basically a coin flip. So I think we're all kind of in agreement that this is the very highest end of 9-12 and the lowest end of 7-8. Like China's very
Yes,
good
I-
once again.
Complete agreement.
I think
All
pretty
right,
much
yeah.
just as good as last year.
Yep.
We
So
go.
if we need to move teams around later, then I think we know who's sliding up into that spot
Yeah.
if we end up mispicking
And
here.
I
So-
will vouch China over Chile for top 8 this year despite
I
being the
would
Chile.
I
too,
agree.
probably with the roster switches. So we'll get there when the time comes. 9th, 12th for China right now.
Also, shout out to new players because they look really good at like aim and tapping respectively.
Yes, they do.
Which is something that China has
Chill.
kind of wanted. So
good stuff
Yeah.
from them. Next
the
up
fuck
on
happened
our
here?
list of teams is Belarus with some pretty major roster switches from last year, which is mildly concerning considering that they placed 32nd last year, which was the bottom side of the qualifying teams. And even with 8 teams being added this year, they lost almost every single one of their best players through qualifiers, which looks like it is a unanimous DNQ, unfortunately, for Belarus. If anyone doesn't have anything to add about these teams, I think we can say it's done. It's dusted. Best of luck in qualifiers to Belarus this year.
Yeah,
They needed Vudek.
Speed through
They
any
need
of the-
really needed Vudek.
They need
Vudek,
Vudek really
Vudek
badly.
and Temesbro,
Temesbro,
yeah, those two.
Yeah, those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
I think we
best of
can
luck to them.
speed through any of the other 33 and lower teams at this point.
Exactly.
Yep.
Next up, past Belarus, is going to be South Korea. Big
Okay.
ticket item this year. A lot of people have been talking about this. 4 roster switches that are pretty major losses on that end. However, Nope KJK is back, so I'm still putting them in top 5 because he's my GOAT.
Miles,
You want to go first? You're the outlier.
you gotta go first, buddy.
Sure, I mean, I'll go. I
Yeah.
said it, dude. I said it, dude.
7th, 8th
Like,
is wild, bro.
if you
What?
go look at their MPs from last year. It was worst HR player, it was Hyuk, and it was Fragrance on almost every map as their top 3.
Okay, but
Like,
Nope
as
KJK
good-
wasn't there. He couldn't.
But as good as their
True.
new players are, like, that kind of impact is not easy to come by. Like,
Yes.
the only team I would put this team above in like my rankings, I would maybe put them above Germany or Canada. I might put them 5-6 with UK if
No.
UK don't get 4th. But
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's just like
How do you mean?
they need a big jump from Allegrisimo in particular. That's the player that I've heard has been like kind of that linchpin. If he can shoot up to like a tier like 1.5 carry in this tournament, like a super carry almost, then they can do it. But like really, like it depends a lot on their new talent, and they're gonna have to fight with the top tier talent on the other teams. And I just haven't really seen it personally.
Even though I have them 4th, I do actually generally agree with Miles. They lost a lot of talent this year. And in my mind, at least, I think 4th seed to 7th seed could go any way. You know, I have South Korea 4th. I could just as easily see them getting a slightly bad bracket and ending up 7th to 8th. You know, it's very possible Germany, UK, Canada somehow snipe that spot, but I do still think they have a lot of very good players. I mean, Flying Tuna, No KJK, Karcher. Really, they just have so much depth still, and I think that'll take them a long way.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you have literally 4th through 8th that you can just pick from South
Yeah.
Korea, United Kingdom, Germany,
What's the
Canada, and Russia, and just any order will be fine.
Yeah.
And I think,
much.
like, South Korea still has Karcher, they still have Amiya Kokoro, they still have Flying Tuna, they still have Algrisimo, like, they still have some really heavy hitters. But literally any of those teams, it's the same thing as, like, you go down a tier and it's the same way, right? At 9th through 16th or whatever you pick, like it's all the same situation. Just any given day.
I think we're not talking really enough about Sooyoung. I feel like Sooyoung being on the team is actually pretty huge. Sooyoung's probably been like the best player in Korea who's not made the World Cup team for the last like 2 years. He's going to be a really big help for this team. And sure, like with Korea, listen, you lost Faker, and Faker. I get it, all right? Like these 3 guys are genuinely incredible, but the biggest impact that you are going to see these teams play on is in grand finals. Will this team make grand finals? No, they won't, but they still have huge players who are going to be really good. I'd say up until semifinals and then maybe peter out in finals.
I know
Like,
Chiporia
Flying
is
Tuna
Parisia,
still
by
great.
the way.
Yeah, I know Chiporia is Parisia,
Yeah.
but I think Sooyoung is going to be really good, and I genuinely just think the rest of the core of this team, including KJK, is still really solid, very capable of beating Germany in my mind. I think of like the ones I have in deadlock with like Germany, like Canada, maybe China, Korea easily up there for sure.
I think I'm the one. I have like a slight difference in kind of power ranking where I think the 6, 7, 8 teams are all pretty much a lock, and then 4th and 5th is its own set of teams, and those two teams are South Korea and Germany. I just happen to put South Korea a little bit ahead of Germany in those two, but I think Germany definitely has a chance at beating them, and Germany has a chance at top 4, but I think South Korea is just still slightly better. And I did do a big correction based on the loss of talent this year. From 1st to 4th is a massive drop-off still. So I think pretty fair in terms of the kind of drop-off here. It's just, I don't think that they drop off that hard down to top 6. I think it all depends on the Germany matchup, because I think Germany is solidly top 5 alongside South Korea, and then there's a separate top 3 and a separate 6, 7, 8. But I think this team is just like slightly better than Germany. They still have a lot of good players. We've talked about kind of all these guys except for my keyboard. But he's a pretty much complete rookie. Okay. I've seen a couple of like Ramai MP links from him. He will do well, but definitely not a replacement for 3 fakers.
No, big drop for South Korea this year. Like, this is the Dio, you're right. Like, this is on any given normal year, this is a team dropping from 9th, 12th to not qualifying in terms of like bracketing down, right? You're dropping 4 slots here. So this is already saying a lot about what this roster looks like. But, you know, I think, you know, I'm going to keep my 4th, but I definitely would agree with Shiba and Miles changed, but you know, I think 5th, 6th is that same range for this team this year. So, you know, I think we're going to have to do some manipulation to this little group that we've got going on happening in 4th, 5th, 6th here. So we will see what happens, but South Korea landing on 4th for now. That is 2 spots left now remaining in 2nd and 3rd once we have filled them in. And that is
right. I gotta put the flag on the sheet. My bad. Hold on.
That is true. South Korea.
That's my job. Wait a second. There we go.
South Korea DNQ. Right. Just kidding. By the way. Go. Next up on our list is going to be Saudi Arabia. This is a team that is returning once again, but they are 7 players out of the maximum possible 8 players. iFlame, would you like to give a quick explanation for the 33rd to 40th, just because I'm interested?
Yeah, look, Saudi Arabia is my dark horse to qualify. I was looking at some 4WC placements. They did manage to qualify for 4WC with a lot of the same players. They have some added 3 digits that should make the team a bit better. And I think when you look at a lot of the teams in this kind of like, you know, low, or I guess you could say low 30s to DNQ range, a lot of them are just the 4WC teams. And so I think I could see Saudi Arabia. I mean, they're definitely not a lock to qualify. I would put them 40th or 39th at best, but I think their players are good enough to beat out some of the other, you know, teams that are kind of bordering around that 40 range if they get a little bit of luck in qualifiers.
Well, best of luck to Saudi Arabia then, and I might agree. Maybe they will be that sort of like low end of the 40s. We shall see with the 4WC roster. Saudi Arabia DNQ for now, unfortunately. Moving on to our next team is Australia. This is one of the teams that we were hint referencing earlier about maybe filling one of those top 2 or top 3 spots going through. And they've got 4 roster switches this year that a lot of people are very excited for, as well as a big amount of their top end sticking around this time. That is going to put some contention here on the picks. iFlame, close your eyes before you pick. Oh, and it is 2nd as the average for Australia.
You guys are so insane for putting USA
okay,
first,
says the guy who put US fifth.
When there's another team that's so obviously up there, bro.
You also have Australia second. What?
You have Australia second.
Yeah, I know, because I think USA would get 3rd or 4th.
Like,
that takes sucks though. I'm sorry, that takes
have to rethink your employment status for next year.
It is the hot take. It is the hot take.
It's a hot take. But give me your explanation then. Wait, I'm interested now.
Well,
What,
I feel like we'll get that. We'll get there when we get to Poland.
we'll get
Because
there.
we're all in
yeah.
agreement on Australia. I mean, look, I think the thing
Oh
for
wait, I
Australia,
forgot about that team. Never mind.
Yeah.
they have their key players. Secretbox, Emrek, AKenZX were the main three that were really strong for Australia last year. Obviously, they've gotten a lot weaker in reading, but they're still a really incredible mechanics team, and they're probably going to be a top mechanics team in the tournament. I don't think you necessarily need to be a really good reading team, especially in the later stages. And in terms of their added players, I'm not familiar with all of them, but we have a lot of very high-ranking, two-digit players. So clearly, they're playing for skill cap this year, or building the roster for skill cap, and I do think that's going to help them out once they get to the grand finals pool. And for me, I mean, slight spoilers, but I was really flip-flopping pretty much right up until the stream started between putting Poland and Australia second versus third. I do think it could go either way. I think both are insanely reasonable. It's going to be very pool dependent, but I'll talk about the reasons once we get to Poland.
I think if there was one thing that I really wanted to talk about for Australia is that, granted, like they do have their main core, but first of all, Pala is it has improved a lot this year compared to last year. In recent tournaments with Australian players, he actually beat Box and Akens in matches, and that should be a big statement for the potential Pala has on this team. Kloppet is a huge wildcard player, ginormous skill cap potential. The question is on whether or not he can use that skill cap to be consistent, especially during matches where it's not grand finals where he can fully abuse it, but still needing to be up there around semi-finals and finals. But with Zeva and Milo Milkshake on top of that, this is the best Hard Rock team in the tournament, and it's not even close. And that's with Germany and UK and USA. This team is revolting on Hard Rock. And you've got Box, Emrek, who are obvious, but you also have Zeva, who's a spectacular flow aim and precision player, especially. And then you have Milo Milkshake, who's a good fourth to fill that up. I do not know Superior's game. I do not know what he's familiar with, but I assume he's a gimmick filler. I'm not too sure though. I need someone to correct me on that. I think this team is really
Superior's
really
a high ranker. He's like a DT player, skill cap guy. Same thing with Kloppet. And that's really where my concern was with Australia, because this roster basically punts gimmick completely out the window. Like, you don't have JGLF, who, like, that team didn't spec into gimmick last year at all. He didn't play like that many maps, but it's like Emrek, I don't see anyone on this team who plays at least low AR gimmick. I mean, Big Snag plays like HR and DT gimmicks, of course, and Nomad as well. But I don't know. I see this team as a wild card among the top end teams. Like, they could play second to fourth in my eyes.
I think the opposite.
Really?
I think this team is top 2, and I think this is the one team in the tournament that has a shot at beating USA, because in the later stages, they have the single best tournament player in the world in Emrek, and a roster that scales for speed, hard rock, and DT gimmick better than any other roster. Yes, USA had better qualifier scores, but that's on a 7.5 star pool, not an 8.5 star pool. We saw them take USA to tiebreaker last year. They can win that matchup this year as well. Do I think they will? No, that's why I had USA first, but I think this is the one team that has a shot at doing it. So I actually have the opposite take. I think that specialization is what is going to allow them to put up a fighting chance against the United States, who is typically more of a generalist roster. And I think their specialization strategy was proven last year by South Korea winning it as a specialist team.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, USA has been that specialist mechanics team for like literally ages. Like, since they took that mantra from Germany after like Germany tried to mechanics abuse into first place, kind of got beaten on that end. USA took over as that number one mechanics team while still being good at gimmick. And I see them being that same role this year. So I think it really depends. As everyone is saying, it is so pool dependent. But also, I want to comment that last year's grand finals pool was just so good for Australia. Yeah. Like, I think that Hard Rock pool in particular, that HR1 last year was so good for Australia. And I actually think they would have done better than USA against South Korea if they had managed to win that TB.
I think
Go on, Chile.
My quick thing with Australia is like, so they're one of those teams where like they have Emrek. Emrek in finals and grand finals last year on the high end was literally the best player for both weekends by a pretty decent margin, and that's uncontestable. The thing that I'm sort of like, I see with Australia though, and it's really big on how Box plays in the bracket stage this year, is their next closest player to MREC was really far down that list. And the rest of their players were sort of clustered at the bottom to middle bottom of the performers. Meanwhile, you had teams like the United States and South Korea that, while did not have the best player in the tournament, on both of those weekends either had a top 3 performer or at least 3 or 4 of the top 8 performers on the roster. And with the United States making roster switches that maintain that, as well as Poland gaining back their best tournament player this year, who we haven't gotten to yet, that literally did not play last year, who is a contender to fight against MREC, as we've seen in the past, maybe doesn't win, but you don't need to have the number 1 player to be able to match up. I think that leaves Australia in a spot where it's very dependent on how these replacement players, I shouldn't say replacements, their roster switches for these bottom 4 make up the difference, where their like middle bottom half of their roster maybe came a little bit short last year.
I think why, although Dio and I both have the same placements, we're so opposite on the opinion, is for me, first of all, Australia are relying on a pretty big meta read here. This team, I don't know who their best hidden / reading player would be, unless it is MREC filling, but are you really going to let MREC play Phil hidden? Really depends. I don't see this team being able to pull up the stops on free mods very well, unless they literally just have one person tank. And on top of that, I think that it's brave because you have exclusive astronomical power on Hard Rock, and on top of that, obviously mechanics and skill ceiling and general non-mod versatility would be solid too. But the fact that you have such a ginormous gaping hole in this gimmick and reading is a bit scary. You know, if you could have one player be a filler for like, you know, the hiddens and at least be competent, fine, I get it. But I don't really know who else, maybe aside from Box, who could fill that spot. And again, do you want Box to be that player? I don't think so. I think you'd rather have somebody who is specialized in that. And I think Australia are taking a really big risk here. And that's why I think they are a massive wild card, because a lot of teams are from sources from, you know, teams that I know and other stuff like that, they're making a meta read on this being a bit more gimmick sided. And so for me, if Australia mess up this role, they could get 4th, maybe not even 3rd. They could get 4th in this tournament. But do I think that's the case? I still think they're good enough to get 2nd. And I still think they're good enough to beat USA.
All right, Australia going to be 3rd right now overall on the listings. Best of luck to them in the tournament this time around. Lots of uncertainty, it seems, for them as we move into our next team. It's going to be Czechia, going to be a 4-player switch for them this time around. They played through the tournament in 51st seed last year with 4 roster switches. That does put them in the realm of danger. And it seems like a unanimous DNQ for them. So best of luck through the qualifiers round. We wish you good times in your endeavor. Yes, happy holidays.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Good job getting a roster. Good luck.
Good job getting a roster again. Exactly. Respect Uma Musume. Next up, Mongolia. Sigi is gone, which means that Mongolia is going to have a little bit of a tough time this year. Aside from the fact that they are literally a 6-player roster, this is a dangerous year for them. Best of luck to Mongolia in qualifiers as well. Next up on our list to speedrun after the long talks is going to be Team Sweden. 2 roster switches this year that, oh my god, Gripe is back this year. I am so excited. On top of a Sweden roster that, if you watched 4WC this year, you know what this roster is putting down this year, and it is going to be either at or better than what they put down last year.
Bad, Shiva.
And the team that they literally lost to last year in the quarterfinals that prevented them from making it to quarterfinals round 2 dies this year. And they get better. So
I think my big question right now is whether or not they're higher placed than Brazil, because if they are to me, then I think 9/12 is definitely doable. I think top 12 is definitely there.
Wow, big range.
I'll be quick because I've got to move on. But I personally have them over Chile for 9/12, but I think they're kind of right on the border as well.
I almost have them kind of at the I really am unsure. I actually had them like 17-24 yesterday, but I'm looking at rosters and teams, and I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm not sure because I think competent, and that's not a knock on Sweden because Sweden is really good, and they are pretty much my first choice to move up to top 16. But I think the competition for top 16 this year is just insane. There's a lot of teams, for example, one that did not qualify last year that I think is a dark horse top 16 team this year, that if you know ball, you will recognize already who I'm talking about. And the competition this year is just so high. So I feel like it's very hard for me to put them top 12 and still hard for top 16, but I feel like I have to just because this team is that good.
All right.
Sweden is locked in a 9th, 12th on the average right now. And we will move on to our next team on the list. It's going to be Cambodia without a team this year, DNQ. We wish you best of luck in putting a roster together for 2026. Next team up on the list. Sorry, Dio, I'm like not giving you any time to put the flag down. Is Israel. 2 roster switches down at the bottom this year. Pixel and Accelerator out for them. This is a team that I personally had very, very much on my cusp of like the bottom to DNQ range. And I'm going to literally need to check my pick'ems to see where I put them. I'm pretty sure I put them in qualifying.
Yeah, I fully
they're
agree.
so
They're like
close.
on the cusp.
They're on the very edge for sure.
I did, yes.
Tai back is
looks
good
like
for them.
everyone
That's
agrees.
why I had them qualifying, actually. Tai being back
Yes.
is good for them.
Very good
I was going to
roster.
say, Tai, from what I remember, was actually a really good player for Israel. So I think that upgrade is going to be big enough for them to probably pretty comfortably be in that range of 33, 40th.
Big 50-50.
I got convinced
this,
to put them DMQ on my pick'em, but I think they're good. Like their top 3 players, Potato, Koala, Chip, all have good play count. Tai is back. Galog is good. Like they should qualify.
I mean, if Saudi Arabia is on the like bottom end of the 33rd to 40th on the DNQ side, Israel is like the team that's literally on the other side of that, where they're like 33rd to 40th and like moving towards DNQ. Like they're pinching on each other in that bottom spot there, I think. And it looks like it's a unanimous agreement, 33rd to 40th for Israel. Best of luck to them in qualifiers this year, making it in for a spot. Next up on our list to keep this train going is going to be India, team that qualified in 52nd last year. They've made a couple of roster switches this year. Again, a lot of very good players on this roster in the rank restricted scene. Unfortunately, translating to a fairly difficult bracket and qualifying stage in OWC does mean that they tend to fall a little bit lower on the rankings, and a DNQ seems to be the listing for them right now, unless iFlame is a dissenter.
I'm DNQ as well.
All
Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for India
Rip
this
Rum
year.
moment, dude.
Yeah, so close. I was
Wrong
holding my
moment.
breath to see if I was going to see a 33rd to 40th for India
No.
this year. Best of luck to them in qualifiers. We hope to see you do well. Next
I will
up
very
on
quick shout out. They're putting a lot of effort
can't
into their
stop the train.
country scene.
Yo!
Hopefully good. Hopefully good
Yeah,
soon.
very good. Hopefully
qualifying run soon.
good. Good luck, India. Good luck,
Yeah.
India.
Okay.
We move
Next
on.
up on our list, we're just going to rock through this, is Colombia. They are a 3-player roster switch after placing 38th last year. That does put them in qualifying range based on last year's results, and it looks like the consensus is going to be that they do maintain that placement into the group stage this year, especially with some of these players like Carlos Flo.
Carlos Flow good.
Oh, so
There you
good.
go.
Carlos
Carlos
Flo
was
good.
great.
Carlos Flow good. Hold on, I have a couple of notes from yesterday. Okinari and Pablo Nichan were also very good last year. Those were another couple of 2 of their top 4 performers, putting up some FCs in the qualifiers pool last year for both of those players. Gato Hongo being in this year, I think, is really nice for Colombia. One of their new players to watch out for. Very solid 5-digit tournament player in D-Ranker, who I think will be a big asset in the group stage. To maybe make them win a match. I don't think they'll get out of groups, but I think they're a 1-2 groups team, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Respectable.
That's definitely possible.
Fell on Hard Rock as well is pretty good, I was told.
So good
Okay,
stuff
anyone else?
from Colombia.
Oh, let's move on. It's the 33C teams.
Congratulations on qualifying for OWC. This is actually the teams that we're just manually selecting to be put in this.
Congrats on qualifying.
Yeah, congrats on qualifying Colombia. Next up is Italy. Again, this is a team that we talked about extensively last year because of the significant roster switches that they had. This year, they have another set of significant roster switches, as well as Ryuzaki coming back to the roster this time around after they qualified in 35th. Last year, Italy ended up, unfortunately, I think, dropping out in no phase, unfortunately.
They didn't
because
qualify
I can't do
last
math,
year.
and they got 35th. They didn't qualify last year. And it seems to be that everyone thinks that these roster switches are enough, and I would say I agree.
I think the big one for me is that Kurochi is back. Don't ask me which one Kurochi is. I don't remember anymore.
It's
I know Kurochi is on the
Belofigo, I
rod. There you
think.
go.
I'm pretty
Belofigo.
sure that's...
No, it's
yeah.
Kusuria.
Is it Kusuria? Who's
Yeah.
Belofigo? Who is that name change?
I don't
then?
remember. Hold on.
I
I have
looking
a,
this up.
Kokateo is Arch.
That's Roxy.
yeah, they have Arch
Kokateo is
Kurochi this
Arch.
year.
the
So
way.
ball knowers
Let's
know
with
that means Italy is back and they will do well. And I feel like the top 16 is very doable for them. I'm a little bit of the hopium on top 16, but you know.
Yeah, very fair.
I'll bump him up because of
Kirochi
that. I
beat
was not
Emrek
aware
on
that that was a
Ramei.
name change.
Yeah, Arj and Kirochi
Kirochi
both
beat
being on the
Emrek
team,
on Ramei.
like completely flips this. Like
Yeah.
it makes the team go from like super low to like pretty middle. Of
Yeah,
the pack.
Meows is also quite good right now. Ryuzaki is back.
Yep.
Like they have a 3 to 4 player core roster this time for Team Italy, which has not been the case in the past. Even without BGM this year, even without Ilbas still popping this year, I feel like this is just a straight up much better roster, and we will see them do quite well.
Big recovery.
Yo,
from Italy
imagine
this year.
just keeping
Respect Hachimi.
a username. I don't fucking know,
would
man.
be crazy.
Actually,
Unreal.
shout outs to
OWC
the
changes,
United States who asked to revert their name changes for OWC.
Yeah,
The other day,
shout
by
out,
the way,
shout out.
like
God.
bonus
Shout out
points,
to
bonus
Caleb
points
and
for
Window
that.
Live, the goats.
Um,
All
And
right.
Netherlands
I
is
w-
still coming up.
I
Yeah,
will
Netherlands-
literally
oh
put
my
this.
God.
I will
Oh my
put
God.
this out there. If any other country player wants to do that for OWC, message me because we could make it happen. So
As long as it's a
Please-
revert to a
please do.
username people know.
yeah, it
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah,
a revert
please,
to the
man.
old name that people knew you by. It can't just be anything.
We need a
So,
law. We need an OWC
All
law
right.
for name changes, bro.
Who we
I'm
got
telling you.
next?
I did. I instated that yesterday. So message
gosh.
me now.
Good.
17th to 24th. It looks like for Italy, huge recovery for them this year. Best of luck in qualifiers and through the group stages. Next up, Team Japan, a country that also took a huge hit last year, is taking an unfortunate another hit this year. They moved down to 20th in qualifiers, and it looks like there is some doubts on whether or not they're going to be able to maintain that entirely this year. And we are currently split down the middle. T1G going to go for 25th to 32nd, and it looks like they will be qualifying, but in a lower spot than traditionally for Japan. They just seem to unfortunately lose more players every year.
Yeah, they just like
Jesus Christ.
their standard scene is so weird, man. Like you just get these like random new players and then you replace them with some other random new players that nobody from probably outside of Japan has ever heard of, unless like I guess if you follow OJT, maybe I'm guessing these people probably played in OJT. But beyond that, I've literally never seen 5 names on this roster before, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Pretty,
they lost
pretty
really
similar to
strong
me.
players.
Go ahead, Miles. You were first that time.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's like I look at all 5 of the players they lost, and they're players that like are not necessarily like name brand tourney players, but they're players who were like active in community tournaments throughout the year for the most part. Like I recognize all of those names, and I don't recognize any of these new names.
Losing
And
Iger hurts.
That's
I know the
I-
one that I know Furamine is Mo Furies. That's the only name that I recognize on this team.
wait,
That's
Mo
the only
Furies is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mo Furies is
that's what I
playing.
Oh my god.
So I mean, I think
Mo
like
Furies is cool, but yeah, the
Yeah.
rest are I don't know. If
Yeah,
not,
overall,
really bad.
they've lost a lot
insane.
of their strong players. So I
She
think
is crazy.
25 to 30
Yeah,
seconds.
it looks like they're pretty comfortable sitting down there, and we do need a couple more teams. So unfortunately, Japan
Yep.
will be dropping from last year. Best of luck to them through qualifiers. Next up on our list is going to be Kazakhstan
Big one.
with a 5-player roster
fucking
switch
go.
this year into some pretty decent improvements for them this time around. They qualified in 27th last year. They played through the first round of the tournament, losing to Canada, unfortunately, a very difficult first round match. And they also lost to Ukraine in the round of 16, another very difficult early stage matchup. So they did go 0-2, but look strong through qualifiers. So they're going to go to the group stage likely. The question is, how many matches do they win in that group stage after switching back through?
I think this team's bordering 17th, 24th, and 25th, 82nd.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, Turnifus has improved a ton. Kamenchik, I know, is a big question mark, but he's Kamenchik. You have to have a good amount of faith in him for that one. Losing Plombeer and Nezha is really rough. I think especially because Nezha was going to improve later on in this year to be a seriously strong contender. But I do know Leiden. I know he's got good faith in this team, and I can believe him. I don't think Kazakhstan have massively disappointed me in the past, unlike another team, but we'll I think honestly this team's doable. It's doable. I don't know for sure. I can't be fully confident on each placement, but I'd border between 25th and 24th.
Nezha actually flag changed to Russia, and he was meant to be on the Russian roster this year, I recall.
Oh, wow.
But there was
Wow.
some technicality actually kept him off the Russian roster, but Kazakhstan is in this weird place to me where it's like they have a super player, a genuine super player in Kamenchik, and then they also have good like all-round fills as well in Turnifus and Revexi. And teams in this tier just make magic happen and win matches to get to the tier that I have them at. So I just have them here. I can't really explain why, but they can do it.
I respect
What have you
it.
got, T1G?
Oh, dude, I just came back in the
Oh.
middle of this.
The tiebreaker for
T1G.
T1G.
Tiebreaker.
Another
the
one.
tiebreaker.
Yeah.
It can't be that deep, right?
Dude,
like
go 17th, 24th just for me.
I think
just so we can move on.
17th, 24th, 17th, 24th
35,
makes sense,
32,
at least in my mind.
unfortunate.
Oh my
Alright.
god,
yeah, this guy.
I'm just doing that to force the coin flip.
I'm
All
just
right.
doing it
This
to
time
force
I've
the
got
coin
a. This
flip.
time my toonie has a polar bear on the back. Chat.
Alright,
If
flip
you
it, flip
if
it.
you like the polar bear coin.
I'm taking
Uh,
Polar Bear.
Heads 1724, tails 2532,
All right.
and it is heads. All right.
It is 17,
Nice.
20.
Let's go.
I respect that because I see a team that I would move down from that bracket, and I know there's at least one team coming up that is going to need to go 25th, 32nd, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it looks
Yeah.
like
Alright.
Kazakhstan, 17th, 24th. Best of luck in qualifiers. Next up on our list is Argentina, losing 2 players, joining them, however, Tofi and Penguo coming back. This is, I believe, at least one, if not both of those players have played OWC in the past for Argentina. And that means a little bit of a resurgence from them after 29th qualifiers last year, moved into the first round of the tournament, losing to Russia, unfortunately, a tough early round matchup, and then did lose to Japan. So a double loss for them coming through. And we are super almost split, but it is the 33rd to 40th right now.
For me, what's making the difference is that Richo was definitely one of their best players alongside Bomilk. And
Richo
losing
is a
him
big loss.
Is really, really big. And I don't
Yeah.
think the adaptations were big enough. So I think I'm going to drop him down. But definitely possible.
Oh, yeah.
Top
Jack Zebra is Pee Pee Poo Poo, by the way.
Yeah.
That's actually a good name change.
Oh, really?
Jack Zebra,
Yeah.
Pee Pee
Thank
Poo
God
Poo
he's
is a
not
good
Pee
name
Pee
change.
Poo anymore.
My
I respect
God.
that name change.
I'm going to miss saying that on
Alright,
stream
so-
now. Definitely.
Yeah. No. I think the big thing for me is that like Rico is gone, but Penguo is back. So I feel like that's a decent enough change to keep them top 32. Because they were top 32 last year, so they can do it again. I think. But I understand. I think they're on the lower end of that, so I definitely understand putting them 33-40 anyway.
Yep. I think they need to go below Japan because Japan beat them in not close fashion in the round of 16 last year. And
Japan is also worse this year.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, they're both like, so it's tough. It's tough. They're both having an interesting time. We'll see, but they're qualifying, which is all that really matters for these teams. Congratulations, Argentina, for making 33rd to 40th. Next up on our list is Austria. And if you've been paying attention to some of the community tournaments this year for World Cups and the Austrian regional tournaments, which I would venture to say there's less people keeping up with OSU Austria tournament in their lands, which they have had a lot of this year, you would likely know that Austria is probably about to have one of the best years in the OS World Cup that they ever have this year. They have a super strong Fedora Goose coming back, as well as players like Z9A and 10A, Tepi Fangirl, Tomodoy on the roster, and Tepi actually themselves coming back to the roster this time around, which is a name I didn't think I would see in OWC again.
They look
Yeah,
good,
they're going to
man.
be good at aim. They're going to be good at aim.
Yeah.
I pulled their tournament. This team they're going to hate hidden. They're going to hate reading. Everyone except for Tepi Fangirl can play low AR. or nobody but Tepi Fangirl can play low AR. But this team, they're just all around strong, and I think they're gonna get through groups.
No argument there.
Groups, that's just auto top 24, isn't it?
No, it's top 32.
32nd. The bottom 8 teams in
it depends on which groups
Yeah,
you go into.
All of the top 16 teams from the upper groups move on, and then only half the teams from the lower groups. So we just lose the bottom 8 through, and then the 16 after.
Yep.
So good job, Austria, moving it up 25th to 32nd. Let's hope that they can pull that out again. They did have a pretty tough loss in the round of 32 last year, playing Australia in the first round. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
So that's brutal for them. So they just need a little bit better luck at the draw in groups. Next up is going to be Mexico, 34th seed out of qualifiers last year, does lose some major talent this year, and unfortunately, I don't think I have enough information about their new players to know if anyone can make up for Kembaros this year, because that is some serious tough loss right there.
Am I right in saying that Shiramisu was a good new addition, or am I getting the names mixed up? So I swear I've seen that name with positive.
I don't remember, but I mean, the big thing for me is like, this is a team that just didn't qualify last year, right? Shiramisu was potentially on Team Thailand last year. Did have a Thai flag at some point. Has
Thai flag to Mexico flag is an interesting one. I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's kind of cool.
Anyway,
we all got DNQ.
Or maybe I'm getting baited by the player banner. Who knows? One way or another. The big thing for me is like, they just know Camberos is really tough. That was their best player, and they still didn't qualify last year. Granted, they were top 40 last year, but it feels like kind of just a bit of a roster implosion for them, because Camberos and Karu both leaving is 2 really big hits.
It's tough for Mexico this year, but it looks like a unanimous DNQ for them. I have to put them in 33rd to 40th because I put them in my pick'ems in top 40. So belief in Mexico is strong for me. So
I mean, they're one of those teams that I think people are talking about as like in that like 36 through 44 sort of bubble.
I mean, they got 34th last year.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't super far down the list, so it's possible. So we'll see how these new players show up for them.
Yeah,
It's
Next
DNQ,
up.
unfortunately, for now, so goodbye, Mexico. Next up on our list of teams is going to be Poland. This is a team that we've mentioned in passing in at least 5 other scenarios, and we are finally here at them, making a big captain switch for a player that I think everyone is going to recognize up in that slot, as well as some roster switches that personally, I'm a little sad to see Mostage not playing this year. But very, very exciting to see Nahus on the roster, as well as Malashevsky back, who is often regarded as one of the best tournament players in the world when Emrek is not in the lobby with him.
I mean, this team's just really, really good. What more is there to say, bro? You get Malashevsky back, you had Sharitori, you get Nahus. Like, this team is so good, man. Spoilers, they're almost assuming that the unofficial qualifiers thing is legit. They're like, or has like the right weighting and stuff, which I don't know if it does. They're like very likely to get number 1 seed at this point. Yep. I'm pretty sure.
T1G timed out for spoiling.
That's fine. I don't care.
T1G perma ban.
I'm joking.
But it's like we've been saying the whole time, right? It's like top 2, top 3 feels pretty locked, and it's just going to come down to who plays better on the given day on the grand finals pool, who the grand finals pool maybe is a little better for or whatever. Because this Poland roster is the best they've had since 2017.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, man. Go on, iPhone. Go on.
And I was going to say, for me, despite qualifiers, I don't think I'm quite as high on Poland as most other people who see them as kind of the team fighting for first. I'm more in line with the ICMDO. I see them more on par with Australia. If you look back at 2023 OWC, Poland had this exact same core of Malashevsky and Nahus, which is two very big additions, but they got, I think they finished as not even top 8 that year. I think they finished 9th to 12th, if my memory serves me correctly. And I mean, they do have Milos now. Milos is incredibly good. Sherry Torres is a nice addition. But I don't think it's like such a massive addition that they're now like the favorites to be winning the tournament. You know, I think Poland has had a bit of a history in recent years of underperformances. And so while if they play really well, they can definitely compete for the first spot. I would be slightly worried about their scaling compared to the US. I don't think they scale slightly worse. And so I have them closer to Australia in my mind than I do to the US.
Okay. So one player who I haven't heard be mentioned that much yet is Milos, who I think like he doesn't play too many community tournaments, but if Milos has like a great tournament, I think he actually could be like a top 10 player in the whole thing. Like I think by the end of it, everyone is going to know his name. And if they win, it will likely be because of him having like a fragrance of page level of like jump in people's expectations. So I'm just saying, look out for him.
Anyone else?
I'll go real quick. I put them third just because I think USA is winning it. I think they're the strongest team in the tournament. I think Australia is the team with the best chance at beating USA. And also the best odds against every other team in the tournament because of their scaling on a couple of related specialized skill sets, which is the formula that South Korea used to beat the USA last year. And I think Poland is kind of similar to the USA in terms of being like a pretty well-rounded roster. I think they just scale slightly worse, but because of that, I rate Australia a little bit higher than them and rate Poland a little bit worse than Australia. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't disagree with anything that anybody else has said. I think my evaluation of how their roster is going to do is just a little bit different. So I don't disagree with anything anyone said. I just think they're like my evaluation is just a little lower.
Respect
Shiva?
Team Poland.
Yeah, very good team.
Sorry.
Extremely good.
So for me, the reason why I think Poland are winning is that first and foremost, the trio of Malashevsky, Milos, and Nahus is one of the most devastating 3-person cores I have literally ever seen. The only ones that I see better is Korea from last year and 2019 USA. This, like, half of this Polish roster is a continental European team, like European super team. Milos's improvement cannot be understated. He is absolutely monstrous on top of this entire team. I think Nahus is also a lot more versatile and he's going to be playing for a lot more maps. The fact that Milos, and Nahus are 3 of the best tournament players in the world and are all going to be so valuable with both consistency and ceiling is super exciting. And I think on top of that, it's hard to fully notice, generally speaking, but I think the returning rookies of last year in Shedas and Kosherek are also massively improved from last year. I think they're going to be playing a lot better. They're going to be really good 4-person players for Hard Rock and Tech and Gimmick, respectively. Shari Tori coming in is a really good addition. I think he's going to be quite underrated going into this. I think with Poland, the general mass is going to be able to allow him to play a lot more with this team and show off the best traits of him more. And Have is probably the most underrated player going into this tournament. I know not a lot of people know about him, but he has some of the most disgusting potential I have seen in a player. He has played in some tech tournaments and has matched, if not outscored, the likes of Malashevsky himself and Flying Tuna on tech and hidden maps. This guy is a monstrous rookie. It is ridiculous how much potential this guy has. I don't know how well he will do in the tournament itself, but if there was a sleeper candidate for Rookie of the Year, it would be Have. This guy fills that one tiny hidden reading tech gap that Poland have. And with him being around, this is a really well-rounded team with absurdly disgusting mechanical ability and skill ceiling. I think that versatility for Poland is going to take them so far, including the fact that they have great morale, great mental, with the fact that they're a lot of newer, fresh faces who are still really good and really passionate about winning. On top of the fact that they got Malashevsky on the team. Malashevsky for a reason. This guy will super carry in every stage possible. And as long as the pressure does not overwhelm this team, as long as the fact that the young bloods don't cave to the pressure when those really high stakes matches happen, I think Poland can definitely win this tournament. I don't think you are like outrageously based for putting them second, but the fact that they are not, for me, in heavy consideration of top 2 is wild to me, because I think this team is like guaranteed to be in like winners finals, like 100%.
I mean, we literally have 5 of 6 people putting them in top 2.
We have 5 of 6 people in top 2, bro.
But like, listen. Nobody else put them in first. I thought this was like one of the conflicts, is that who was going to be first between USA, Australia, and Poland. I thought Poland was one of the much clearer visions for me.
No.
I'm really surprised that no one else, not even one other person, put them first.
You also have
this team is disgusting.
You also have 3 people from the United States putting them in second who put the USA in first. So it's kind of hard for any of us to put them in first after already putting the USA in first.
Winners. You have winners in the US.
Yeah, there's a bit of information bias on this cast. I don't think anybody's denying that.
And you have anything to wrap up Poland?
No, we've been on them for about 45 minutes, so I think we're good. Yeah,
Polska Górą!
Can win.
Polska Górą! Let's go, bro.
Can win.
Can win.
Nobody disagrees.
Can win with good friends.
Can win and are good friends. So, this is possible for Poland. Good stuff for them. Second place right now. That's our top 3 set, which means that we are here to fill out like all of 7th, 8th right now.
Now we speedrun.
Now we continue moving through. A couple good teams left on this listing. Indonesia going to be up next. Another good roster that we've seen come out in the past. They placed 18th overall in qualifiers last year. They played through the round of 32 and ended up unfortunately losing to Sweden in a very close tiebreaker match. And then they did also move to that next round where they ended up beating Austria in the round of 16, moving on to the quarterfinals. So they did push their way all the way up into a little bit higher of a bracket. And with these 2 roster switches, the question is that enough to keep them there with the loss of someone like Rosemi and Fuma?
I think they're a good team, but they just don't have like major improvements to the roster or to the players on it for this year in terms of tournament performance. So probably going to play similarly. Maybe they top 16 if they get a really lucky bracket group draw somehow. But I think probably they stay the same. Miles, you have them top 16. What's up? What's the info?
Okay, so this is like the last gasp for me. Like if they don't get that top 16 this year, I'm gonna start putting them in DNQ. It's like what is is my internet happening?
No, you're good.
My internet is interneting.
Like I get it.
Okay,
I
so
get you, bro.
It's just like one of those things where it's like Belgium and qualifying almost. It's like they're this team where every year I'm gonna come out and say this team, they're gonna do it. They look so great. They have Dido, they have Lifeline, Hakui Koyori, fucking Mindfrost, like that noob guy. Like this team is great. Like, or they should be if they're all playing at peak. But I don't know. I got a mind worm that one year when they won that tiebreaker. They won Eternal Dream. Skydiver like popped off, and then he's not on the team anymore. But I want them to do well. I just want them to do well. I hope they do. And I don't see or it's completely fine to put them in 17 through 24. I have them in the bottom end of top 16 too, but like, please.
Someone help Miles out here. Like, someone please throw him a bone.
Honestly, I think Indonesia are like the new France, bro.
A little bit.
I drink the Kool-Aid every year. I need them to win.
It's possible, but it looks like 17th to 24th for Indonesia this time around.
Yeah, like we see this core and we think they can get top 12, and every time we think that, they just don't get it anymore. It's such a shame.
It's so close every time. And they did do well in the bracket last year. Again, this placement we have them at is consistent with where they had last year. They made it to the first round of the quarterfinals, and then they lost. So 17th to 24th is no drop for them. So we're hoping Indonesia does at least the same that they did last year in that placement. If everyone else is set, we can go on to the team following Indonesia, Uruguay. 3 roster switches on here. Donut is back, baby, in the roster. Uruguay going to be a team that qualified in 33rd last year, by the way. The 33rd
they qualify this year then. Let's go.
Let's go.
So they make it in. And
also,
Donut
is good, bro. That dude's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Assuming he's
He
still
is.
good. I guess I should say I haven't seen him play in a while, but
He's
assuming
still very
he's still
nice.
good, he's really good. Yeah.
Still
Yeah,
very good.
completely
And
agree.
FDX
Fox
is a
is,
hard
like, top
loss
20.
though. Plox is insane.
Yeah, when did Plox get top 20? I noticed that recently. I was like, wait a minute, this dude is
Yeah.
a ranker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
It's
good
probably been a
upgrade.
while. I remember seeing he got some crazy scores, but like, yeah.
I think finally this team having like a genuinely good 3-person core is going to help them get out of groups. I really think so. Like they do look like they really can push through this time. I think Danit being gone last year was that missing piece of the puzzle.
Feels like
Possible.
another one of those teams that's right on the border.
It
It
definitely
is.
does,
It's
but
right
I think
there.
I think I kind of compared and looked at, like, I have 8 teams that I thought were 33rd to 40th that I think don't beat Uruguay, and so I keep Uruguay in top 32. I think they are better than 8 other qualifying teams this year, and I think they can get out of groups. Like Sheba said, they've got a good core, and hopefully that's enough. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see, maybe see some success.
Respects team Uruguay looks like 33rd to 40th for now, but they will potentially be moved later. It sounds like we're starting to fill up those lower seeded areas, and as we continue moving on, we will see at the end 33 to 40 for Uruguay. Next up on our list, the Netherlands. 2 roster switches here. Some pretty rough losses in Lily and Femboy Feet are gone. But we've got some really good, names on the roster still. Again, the Netherlands, a team that came up last year a lot because this is a country that has just continuously been struggling to put together a roster that they had, maybe 4 or 5 years ago when they were so good. But they got 37th in qualifiers last year, and their roster hasn't gotten worse. John Breathe could be a name change of somebody that's like absolutely insane, but losing the Lily is pretty rough, and Femboy Feet was a really good player. And apparently John Breathe is Draconia, which is an amazing hidden player, actually. So that's potentially benefit for Netherlands this year.
I mean,
Basically,
shout
you
out
see
to my
these
guys
names-
right here.
Oh, that's
Just
Knight?
think of all
Okay.
the good Journey
Ingazzo's
players.
Knight?
Think of all the good Journey players
Yeah,
from the
they're-
Netherlands. They're here. They're changed.
Their
Wait, I'm
entire
going
team
thir-
is just name. Their entire team is just name changes. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm going
so,
top
yeah.
32 then. If that's
so great.
Knight
Yeah,
was
Knight is
literally
really
the
good.
difference
So
between
cool,
Netherlands
guys.
qualifying last year and not. If Netherlands had Knight last year, they would have gone 37th to qualifying. I would put money on it. He's literally one of their best players by so much.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I hope Ahio can carry this. It can also carry this team hard enough as he carries me in my Valorant ranked games. Let's go Ahio, please. I'm begging, bro. Please. I
Okay,
believe.
I'm coin flipping.
Point
Have
flip.
fun. Point flip.
Oh,
Godspeed.
Heads
Lu-
top 32, tails not getting out of groups.
Luciano, call it in the air. No,
Oh, hell
It is
no.
tails not getting out of groups.
all
not
right.
getting out of groups.
GG.
I
Sorry, Netherlands.
apologize.
What the
Point is
hell?
decided.
no.
You
All right.
That's tough
were
for the Netherlands.
That's tough.
too low on the luck status.
Luck
And
is a skill.
That's the Netherlands. Luck is a skill. And
skill.
maybe it will be for them this year. Let's hope that we're wrong for them.
Maybe it'll be for Peru.
Maybe it'll be for
Idea.
Peru because they're probably going to need a little bit of it. As I'm just going to throw this in here. It's not meant to be shade, but 2 of the players that aren't playing on Peru this year are because they are literally banned.
right.
And the other
Yeah.
3 players were also core roster players in
Yeah.
Missio, Judani, and Hasaki. Those 3 were also core roster players. I have heard good things about Sape, but I haven't seen enough to make me put them in qualifying. Look, Arnold's amazing. Arnold's a god. Pra is really good at this game. McGee is back from last year, but goddamn, bro, that's a lot of missing players who were a core part of your roster that you just don't have anymore. I think they don't qualify. And I was the one person who had them qualifying last year. Maybe it's iFlame's turn. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
look, it's really not that deep. They have Arnold. I think with Arnold, he's
Through Arnold, all
top
things are
20 player in the
He shows
tournament.
up. If he
Anything
comes
is possible.
to the match.
They can- I think
up.
Look, they already played their quals. Arnold was there.
that's true.
He was
Arnold
there.
can't
You know
play on
what?
multiple
He was streaming
accounts
it.
at
He was
once,
streaming it.
guys. He
I love
can't
how
play on
Arnold
multiple accounts
existing
at
is
once.
like the make or break for this entire OWC country. It's insane.
I have
Yeah,
not
there-
looked at their qualifier yet.
No,
I,
neither
I
have
think they have a chance to squeeze in with an Arnold
I'm
pop
looking
off,
right
but
now.
DNQ
I'm
is
looking
very
right now.
possible.
Chillier,
All right,
that's
so we
inside
can
info.
move-
I don't care. I'm
Inside
looking.
info, Chillier, no
I'm
leaks.
checking.
No
I'm checking.
leaks.
All right, we can
Stop
move
leaking,
on
bro.
though
All right. Yeah.
while you're
Next
leaking.
up is DNQ for Peru this year. Best of luck to them in qualifiers. May iFlame be correct for their sakes. Next up is Vietnam, a 36th non-qualifying team last year, making some roster switches that are pretty good for them this year. And by pretty good, I mean probably some of the best roster switches we've seen of a team so far that may actually push them to the top end of that range of making it through to groups.
Yeah,
I
I got
a dark horse.
they are a dark horse. I got them in top 32, mostly because I think the continued improvement for Def is really good. Casio being back is really good for them. Bao has improved. Realshin being back is great. Something else is also something else. Like they have a lot of good players coming in. Shimi, of course, yeah.
Def
but
is very good.
yeah, I mean, I think for me, I just kind of compared this team to the teams that I had in 33rd to 40th. And I thought to myself, yep, they're better than those 8 teams. So I got them in top 32.
Yeah.
I do think they're at the bottom end. I think 33rd to 40th is reasonable, but I think they can do it.
Yeah. I think as well with the presence of groups, Def has a lot more ability to be enabled in this as well. You know, on a map by match basis, I think Def is going to be enabled a lot more for groups.
Like,
and that's why I think they can make it a bit further.
Def is just such a big powerhouse on this roster. I had the pleasure or the displeasure of playing against Def in Kanyo Cup last year because he was so good in that grand finals match, and by like the grace of everything, we ended up winning. But Def gave us a run for our money, literally in both sets, in bracket reset and the first match, and that was last year during OWC time. That's now a year later with continued improvement and playing the game. And I haven't gotten the pleasure to see Def play in a tournament since then, but I imagine if they continued playing the game at that level, they are going to be quite terrifying this year. And that's big for Vietnam.
Agreed.
Okay. Anyone else? Or we move on?
40th.
I think we're good to move on.
We move
Lovely.
on.
Team.
Vietnam
Next
in
team.
now. Is that our last team in 8? There it is. So that's 8 for 33rd to 40th
Okay.
right now, which means that we are looking for some 25th to 32nds. Norway, probably not going to be one of those
No,
teams.
it's
though.
better than that.
Very,
Yeah.
very strong. Pinguinzi and Frodo coming back to the roster this year. Zubs, the Brazilian Norwegian, going to be taking a step back this year from the roster, but I still think they are very, very good. They did qualify in 12th overall last year, made it all the way through the bracket, I believe, to the quarterfinals weekend, where they ended up losing to China, who was playing like madmen in that match. And I think good things from them this year.
I think they got kind of unlucky last year. It feels like
Yeah.
Like, they had Germany and then they ran into China, who were just on a tear.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I felt
Tough.
like top 16 was as badly as they ever could have done last year, basically.
Yeah.
And this
And-
team is like better.
Yeah, no, I
agree.
completely agree. They seeded 12th. They beat Indonesia 6-1, who was a pretty similar team to this year. So I think they'll be better than Indonesia once again. So 9th to 12th is very attainable for them, assuming they don't get unlucky again.
When Honda speaks,
I'm
the
desperately
world
rooting
listen.
for them.
Yeah.
I really want to see
Actually,
them
like,
like
they have
outperform that.
so
Norway
many
is
strong
a
players.
very likable team.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
And
love these guys.
I'm only putting them at 13 through 16 because I feel like they haven't had like a signature win in so many years, you know?
No.
Yeah.
It's like if can they beat a team in the 9 through 12th tier? Of course they can. But like they haven't for a long time.
They
so
haven't
I want
shown-
to see them do that before I put them there in my prediction.
To bring back an old one, they haven't shown that they got that dog in them yet. Once we see that they got that dog in them
True.
again, I'm happy to
True.
put them 9-12 every year. But they have
Yeah.
not shown that they got that dog in them yet.
There you go. If Yoke Spy's watching, head over to the
Like,
adoption
please
center.
do
Get
it.
yourself that dog.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a shame that we lose Zubs, but Pinguinzi coming back is really, really good, and Frodo's also generally
Yeah.
solid. So I think this is like a very small upgrade. Even if losing Zubs is a bit painful, I still think this team is definitely really, really good. I really hope they
Oh
make
yeah,
it
shout
top
out
12.
Paper Candle. Shout out Paper
Yes.
Candle for buying me and Dada water at the COE after party.
Respect.
Okay.
User Paper Candle. All right. Next up on the listing as a 9th to 12th, and we still need 7th to 8th seeded teams.
Oh, we have
is
to move a
going-
5th, 6th down, so we have effectively one
We'll
7th.
figure that out.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
figure
We
that
have
out.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out afterwards. Next up on the listing is the Russian.
speaking of 7th, 8th,
Federation.
It is,
Speaking
yeah.
of-
Seven.
of-
I mean,
Speaking of a team that is literally permalocked to this slot.
They did break out of it last year. Do I
They
think that's
did.
going to happen again this year? No.
They lost Chaconi, bro. Like, they lost the
That's
literal,
pretty
like,
rough.
spearhead, main pillar of their biggest strengths. Like, sure, they'll still have that as a strength, but, like, Chaconi makes them a tier above. Like,
Yeah.
it's a huge loss.
Yeah, I think they're still
Yeah,
better than
our
all the
term
teams we
is
have in
like a
9-12,
demon.
but they're not
It's
better than the
easy.
teams we have in 5-6.
Yeah.
No, they feel like a pretty clear 8th to me.
Aaron,
They're
say the
maybe
line
not
about
quite on that.
semifinals.
So I don't even know what is
Please
the
beat
Russia-
Germany.
Russia semifinals.
Please.
Well, yeah, Russia versus
Please.
Germany for top 8, bro.
For top 8,
Please
of
beat
course.
Germany. If they beat Germany, I will
Oh my
forgive them
God.
for all of these years. They just have to beat Germany.
Oh,
It's Aaron. This is like
No.
Michigan versus Ohio State college football. It
Oh
doesn't
my
matter if they
God.
lose every other match. They need to beat Germany. I don't care what else happens. They have to
Yearly
beat
football
Germany.
reference. Yearly football reference
Oh
from
my
Miles,
God.
bro. It had to be
Oh, there's
It's
someone.
plenty
actually
more
so
coming.
real.
Group stages
It's
are here.
actually so real, dude.
Group stages football time this year.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anybody else
man.
excited for the World Series? I got money on the Blue Jays.
I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
looked fucking good last night, bro. They looked
They
fucking
were-
good
They
last
were
night.
pretty-
bro.
They looked pretty good in some other games where they blew a 6-run lead too. So we'll
I
see.
know. I mean,
We'll
could,
see.
could the Blue Jays win OWC?
Can the Blue Jays win OWC for the first time since 1993? Let's see.
Can you imagine Vladdy? Like, he'd be the ultimate speed player.
He would be correct.
All right. Anyway,
All right, let's move on.
Very good stuff from Russia this year, qualifying again. Amazing. 7th to 8th, and many
Congratulations,
football
Russia,
references
for
for Russia
qualifying.
later. Congratulations for making the NFL, Team Russia. Next up on our list is going to be Latvia. 2 roster switches for them this time around. They were 42nd last year, and without any major improvements here, that I'm seeing is going to be a tough one here. They're also losing some pretty good players, actually, in XBob.
I was gonna
You
say,
just-
and Bob loss is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I mean, 42nd, right? Like, that is pretty close to being on the border of getting in this year.
it
you
is.
compare. And they were a bare minimum away from 40th. Like, it was close.
They were.
So,
However,
They're gonna, yeah.
Useless John and Nbob, the 2 people they lost, were also 2 of their 3 top players from qualifiers, or 2 of their 4 top players from qualifiers last year. So it's a definite downgrade this year, which is why I'm pretty confident in DNQ, unfortunately. Despite them being really
sounds
close
tough.
last year.
Yeah, they were very close, but I think it was just, if you were out of the top 40 last year, it's going to be really hard to push into the top 40 this year. Like, realistically, this added top 8 is like people who barely miss top 32 every year and like get that extra like little bit to push through here. So who knows what happens there, but we've got Latvia out for now. Next up on our list from the new range is New Zealand, a 44th seeded last year. Lots of hype around that roster. Ended up coming up just a little bit short. Do they push those last 4 spots in this year? I think it's likely.
New Zealand qualifies this year, bro. Let's go.
Okay, guys,
Hey,
y'all already
I'll
had
look.
8 other teams
think
in
it's-
33 to 40th. How are we putting
we have
this
to move
team also
somebody up.
in 33 40th?
Yeah, somebody-
I
Like,
agree.
it's fair.
Personally,
It is
moving up
completely
Argentina.
fair. I've
I
got
don't
him in.
know. I mean, I would move up Argentina, but we could also just drop New Zealand in 25.
This is a border
32.
team. For me, this is a border
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
tough.
we can
Hey,
move
Shigo
some
and
teams up
Pavey, you can go to
afterwards.
bed.
All right.
No Zoomer hurts. Saiku is still really good, and Kyujin as well, also really good. Some might know that user as a Kim Suye, which was a username a few years ago. I don't
That was his
remember if that was a
debut.
last year name change.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was his debut name.
But
in
yeah,
2023, I'm
they've
pretty
got
sure.
good players. Like, they can get out of groups for sure. I just think I'd favor them on higher skill cap rather than like the groups SR somehow, because like they have some high skill cap players.
I agree with that.
I just don't know enough about their apparent improvement to say that they definitely will be better than 33rd to 40th. Because this is mostly the same roster, and they weren't even top 40 last year. So that's why I got them where I got them. I know that there is some improvement, especially from Kyujin, from Aussie. But I got a see ball to no ball, and I have not seen ball from these players quite yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's possible. You never know. I'm still not revealing anything, even though they've already played their lobby, because haha, you all have to wait until tomorrow. Enjoy.
Be patient.
It is 33rd to 40th for New Zealand. It looks like they're in right now. Let's see if they can maintain that through their actual qualifiers, because honestly, even though I have the MP links, I haven't compared them, so I don't know. So we shall see. Good luck, New Zealand, in their endeavors through qualifiers. Next up on our listing is Hungary, going to be 2 roster switches coming out from them this year. They were 40th overall last year, and the question is, do they get 40th again with these 2 new players, or do they drop?
Definitely good. Definitely
I mean,
good.
the problem is like we're kind of running out of spots in these bottom tiers at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know where we found so many extra teams for 33rd to 40th. I don't know what. How did we find? Okay, I do see one team there. I see 2 teams that I actually have a spot up in the leaderboard. 3 teams that I have in 25-32 that we have in 33rd to 40th.
33rd to 40th that I have in not qualifying on my pick'ems.
Yeah. But
I have teams going both ways.
Are we gonna? Oh yeah, we got GNQ for Hungary.
Ouchie. All right. Well, so our thoughts are that Hungary drops at least 1 seed out of qualifiers from last year. Because they were in last year. They qualified.
Yeah.
For this format. So that's tough. But DNQ for Hungary this time around. Let's see if they can turn some heads, making it through into the bracket again. Next up on our list, a couple more teams that we've seen in previous years still to come. Ireland, a team that has traditionally been towards the lower side of qualifying teams. I, for one, am a big Ireland supporter. Unfortunately, without a full roster this year, there is just no viable way that they are going to be able to push into the top 40.
Miles, which was the
Oh
one
yeah,
that...
I only want to BM Maddie. I don't want to BM anyone else on this team.
Yeah.
So
wait,
respect getting
Miles,
a roster together.
Who was like the child prodigy that Maddie was glazing a bunch at the Blend B&B? I forgot who he.
I wasn't at the Blend B&B. I don't remember who he is. It's just like
he was. Matty would not stop talking about this one guy. I don't know which one it is on the team. I think it might be. Is it Nava or Skug? I don't remember. But there was like this one kid solo prodigy somewhere here, but I don't think that's enough, sadly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah.
that's it for Ireland. Unfortunate. Only 6 players.
Ireland.
Unfortunate for Ireland this time around. Next up on our list of teams remaining, Denmark, the team that qualified in a fairly respectable placement with regards to this format, 39th last year, making 2 roster switches and losing Red Z, which is not the roster switch that you maybe wanted to see come out for them, but they did add 2 new players, which is always nice to see, that they can circulate players that don't want to play and have new ones coming in. But it seems that our faith in Hungary is lost and our faith is gained in Denmark to maintain their placement this year. Hungary has literally 1 placement of leeway from their spot last year in order to go, and Denmark is 2. So we are close to these ones.
Schiller is not happy with the Hungary DNQ pick, bro.
I'm just surprised.
I'm just surprised.
This guy is biased.
I'm so surprised that you have no faith in Defi.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of work to do once we get through all the teams.
Listen,
so much work.
That can be the first team we think about bringing them back up. All right, we'll move. Maybe we
talk
made a
about
mistake.
the fact that we allowed the name Auto Fister.
Auto Fister is a crazy name. That's Catburger, by the way. That's Catburger.
right there.
Yeah,
that's
Catburger. Can we talk about the fact that was allowed?
That's a crazy name.
Oh my goodness.
He knows ball. He knows ball.
Oh my goodness. Good Denmark, 33rd to 40th. Once again, adding another team to the docket. That's 10 down there now. We are looking to add at least 7 more by the time this stream is done. Next up on our listing, Thailand, they played through in last year as well. They qualified in 21st. Overall, they've got 3 roster switches this year, and they've got 1 big loss, but they've got a gain as well in Trifuk Chep. So I am interested in how they do despite not having Deppy.
No Deppy, no Master, bro.
No Deppy, no Master.
Master loss is also pretty big for them.
Chifuk Chep, I remember, is being pretty good.
Pretty good.
Trifuk Chep was
Trifuk
quite
Chep
good.
was good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Yeah.
Obviously, Nama Chusts, also very good. I think like it's another 17-24th or 25-32, and it's just going to be like another team in that big pile.
Yeah.
Reasonable. I had them above like a couple of other teams that we have in 17-24, but I think this is like a pretty reasonable place for them to be.
Yeah. Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't really have much to add. Like the roster
has been
change,
active.
the roster's a little worse this year, but I think they'll do fine.
Yep. It's a little
They will
bit
survive.
tough for them.
Lesbury
They
still
will
has to
go.
be him.
That's true. Lesbury is always him. Lesbury's always him. That's insane. Why would we even think of something otherwise at this point? He's proven himself. Next up on our list, with Thailand making it down into the slower slots, is going to be Serbia, who unfortunately will not have a roster this year. One more team added to the DNQs. Best of
Rest in
luck
peace.
putting a team together for 2026. Next up is Macau, a roster that has swapped out a player that was 63rd overall.
Wow.
63rd overall.
That's actually kind of good for Macau standards. I can't lie.
That is 3 up from the bottom. That is Georgia and Bosnia and Herzegovina were the bottom 2, with Macau, Croatia, and Ireland following them. Unfortunately, I think that means that once again, with a roster of only 7 players, that is just not going to be enough to push into the stage. Best of luck in qualifiers, Macau. But there is a little bit to go. Same thing with Bosnia and Herzegovina. There is another switch out there. Our bottom seeded team out of qualifiers last year. 6 players on this roster with 2 switches. Best of luck to them. But again, very, very tough to make it through that stage there. Georgia falling on the 64th seed as well. Congratulations on getting a roster together again. But 6 players out of 8 leaves you in the DNQ range for the purposes of this broadcast. Best of luck to all of these teams. I know we skipped past them pretty quickly, but in the interest of not keeping everyone here for a couple of hours, these are the bottom 3 seeded teams from last year going through. Next up on our list past Georgia is Team Brazil, a team that has qualified on basically every year they have played OWC. They were 17th overall last year out of qualifiers. They played all the way through to the quarterfinals weekend, where they ended up unfortunately losing to Ukraine. And they have a 4-player roster switch this year, losing some very good players, but gaining a couple of good ones as well.
They gained some very good players. I mean, they brought back Vidaskol, Nyash, and Kurumi W. Like these are good improvements here from Brazil. It's sad to see Fake the Funds go because from what I remember,
also
he was
lost
actually pretty
Lirumin.
solid. Lirumin, yeah, but honestly, Nyash and Vidaskol and Kurumi W, those are 3 good players to come back. I can't lie. This is a
very
decent
good
improvement for Brazil.
Ball knowers know we're just missing a KXBE to the SHWQ that we have on this team. So I got them top 16. This is a good roster this year. We've talked about the replacements, but Schwick is going to be pretty good, which is the apparent intended pronunciation of that name is Schwick.
Yeah, I do think they have gotten a little better compared to last year. They did seed 17th, but they had a pretty rough showing in the bracket. They lost to Ukraine, I believe, 6-1 in the second round. So definitely underperformed their seeding a little bit. I personally don't know if I think they've kind of improved enough to make top 16 over teams like Ukraine, Turkey, and Hong Kong. But it feels like they should be, in my mind, right around 17th or 18th again.
Brazil is going to surprise a lot of people this year, in my opinion. And I think one of the most spread pieces of qualifier information so far, I won't specify what it is for the people who don't know, but this Brazil team, if you don't know a lot of these players, I think you're about to learn some names.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
This team's good.
I'm excited for Brazil. They had a rough go last year too. Again, tough matches, and making it through to the quarterfinals weekend does imply top 24th already. And if they did find improvements, then, you know, Brazil is potentially slowly coming back to form from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
New generation forming up.
New generation of Brazil. It looks like 13th to 16th overall is the majority here, and that is where Brazil will land. Next up on our list is France, a team that, again, turns heads every single year. What the heck is going to happen with France this year? Well, this is exactly what happened. 14th seed last year, 4 roster switches, lost Justman, lost Okoro, lost Mize JD, however, did gain Flaste and maybe a name change in there otherwise, but this is going to be a tough year for France to fight back into this bracket, even with their existing roster being very good.
I feel like I've said this so many times in the last couple of years. France, they're fine as a qualifying team in brackets. France is just not it. They so often in the last like 5 years, almost every tournament they're losing to lower seeded teams, placing lower than they seeded in qualifiers. I don't know if it's a mental block or what for France, but regardless of their changes, I think they're gonna be on the lower end of 17 to 24, and honestly, they might lose to a lower seeded team again.
They'd need to draw Hong Kong in groups. Please, God, it would be so funny if they drew Hong Kong in groups. But
that would be crazy.
Copy.
Oh,
Miles is now gone.
Like, conversation I had here. Oh my God. Okay.
Miles, we missed you.
Return.
Copy paste the Indonesia comment I had and put it right here. You're 17 through 24. When you get 13 through 16 this year, I'll put you 13 through 16 next year.
I think the big difference for me, and the reason that I actually do have them top 16 this year, is because they actually made big roster changes. Look at the people leaving. Mize JD, Justman, Okoro, Charlie, all of those are big names, yes, but I think one of the biggest problems for France was kind of team cohesion, early round consistency, motivation. Like, they were always potential man, right? And a lot of players that we saw on that team just were somewhat older players who had been around for a while, and maybe just don't have the same motivation anymore. A lot of the players that are coming in, especially Satsuki, Jordy Greep, and Japwhite. Satsuki, a very, very good tournament all-rounder in general, and Jordy Greep and Japwhite are specialist players who are going to be really motivated to perform well for them. I think that extra motivation might help their team environment, might help with the rebuilding, and be the thing that France has needed, because I'm on the same boat from last year, right, where France in previous years is always potential man and just always underperforms and loses round of 32 matches because they get out consistencyed by Turkey. But I think that these types of large sweeping roster changes with a lot of new players coming in for the first time is exactly what you need when you have a recipe for failure that keeps failing you year after year, which is what France's roster recipe was doing for them. So I really appreciate the changes, and I think that can give you a reason to be positive about this France roster.
I think that's.
I'm with you completely, Dio.
That's a great way of putting it. I honestly
respect user Dio. You've changed my opinion.
That was an amazing speech, Dio. Well done, man.
Look, you got to give credit where it's due, right? We shat on France for years for always having the same exact players, having bad mental, having bad consistency. They finally made big changes and brought in a bunch of new players.
No,
good for them.
I respect it. Coin flip their asses right now.
Listen, this is what we call a rebuild. A rebuild has to start by rebuilding.
Yep.
I want to add one more.
It's Tails.
Thank God.
I know.
What have I done?
I know we've already talked about it, but I wanted to add a cherry on top, even if it doesn't directly do with performance. But this is actually Musty's 15th OWC.
That's crazy, bro. That's actually crazy.
What'd you say? His 50th? It's his 50th
50th year.
15th.
His 50th OWC.
5-0.
5-0.
This is his
5-0.
15th year playing OWC. That is actually crazy though. Like, playing OWC for 15 years, like, that is insane. This might be his last year. So this could be like a big hurrah for France. Like, if this really is Musty's last year, they could go seriously all out and pull an underdog run. Like,
this would never his last year.
I'm a little iffy. I'm a little uncertain, but what Dio said is completely true. It is completely true.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right.
I mean, that does.
I could be wrong. They could still top 24 instead of top 16, but I hope I'm right.
I hope you're
like
right. I
what
think
you're saying, though. I agree with you. I'm
I'm gonna have to see it to believe it. Not having any faith
fair
in
enough.
France has paid off for me for the last 3 years. I'm not gonna stop now.
Look, you're not wrong.
All
right.
It's a D1 hater. Holy.
So
Absolutely, but look,
list
that's
What?
40 teams. So in theory, every other team should be DNQ. We'll see.
Yeah,
if that's the case.
technically, we've only got 4 teams left to go, luckily,
Yeah.
so there's not too many going down.
No.
But that's the coin flip, 17th to 24th for France for now. So we'll see what happens when we move them around. But moving into our last 4 teams, Slovakia, 57th seed overall last year, did not make it into the bracket. They have a major roster switch this year, losing some of their staples, but gaining a lot of younger, maybe newer talent in here. Hopefully that makes the difference for them. But I think DNQ, just to be safe, because we've got so many strong teams up in that top 40 right now. Best of luck to Slovakia in the qualifying stage, moving through to groups, hopefully for them, or maybe next year when they continue. Next up, Team Switzerland, 55th seed overall last year. Once again, major roster switches for this team this year. Big addition, I will shout out to this roster this year. Marcel joining the Switzerland roster is pretty big for them. That could potentially make a difference. Does it push them from 55 to 40th? Probably not, but best of luck to Switzerland out of the qualifying stage this year. Next up on our list of teams for the final 2, going to be Bulgaria, a 53rd seed from last year. Once again, another team that has made some roster switches that don't turn heads just yet, which means that another DNQ year for Bulgaria. Man, we did a really bad job RNGing this list towards the ending.
Damn you, Chillier.
It's okay.
That's
We
my
speedrun.
fault. It is literally my fault. So I apologize. And that's going to be a tough one for them there. DNQ for Bulgaria, moving through into last but not least, and sort of fitting, honestly,
Belgium.
for them to be last in this tier list.
It
is
helps to
Belgium.
do this, but
I'm sorry.
41st seed last year out of
Annoying.
qualifiers. We put, now this is a tough one, 50-50, because we put Denmark in qualifying at 39th. We put Hungary down, and Belgium, they
so
go
toxic.
in D and Q for at least 3-4 now. I want to believe in Belgium so badly. I have them qualifying on my
Shiva.
pick'ems. I do. I have them in my top 40.
Shiva, man.
I also
like
had them in
crying
my
right
top
now.
40.
I'm crying.
And if you remember
I
earlier
love
on, I
that.
put Greece as 3340 because there was
Yeah.
somebody who DM'd me who said that their country kind of shat the betting qualls. And, well, this is that
It was
country.
Sonori, but I
This
believe.
is
So-
that country.
still
I'm
believe.
still gonna leave
let's
them
see.
here because of my
Come on.
pick'ems.
Look,
Yeah, I
wanna-
did have it in my
wanna
pick'ems,
believe
but now it's
in
not.
Belgium. I did a
I
tiny bit of
so
research.
badly want this team to qualify.
I really want
Belgium?
them to.
man.
Here's the thing. I want
Please,
them to qual
guys.
too. They have an identical roster to their 4WC roster, and they did not qualify for 4WC. So it's not looking good for
Wow,
them.
that's tough.
Stop!
Yeah.
Stop doing this to me. Oh, man.
Sorry, Shiva.
I have seen
Gotta bring the stats.
I have seen the MP obviously too.
I mean, they lose meta being Misu too. Like those are two actually like.
I
okay players
think
from what I
the
remember.
gimmick roster for Belgium needed to be so locked in on this pool, or even just the aim roster. One of those two needed to show up so hard for qualifiers, and if they don't think they did, generally that's an unfortunate indicator of how things go sometimes. So best of luck to Belgium in their qualifiers. Who knows what what their scores are going to make happen here, but I think it's a tough one for them. And as we finish up Belgium, that is all of our teams that are participating in qualifiers that put a team together in the center of your screens. Now, we do obviously have some switches to make now, so let this current list sink in for a bit before we start to shift it around. Our first place that we are going to be looking is our 5th 6th seed, a team needs
Surely we
to
save
come
that for
down.
last.
Yeah, surely we go the other direction.
Surely we go the other
Surely we go the other
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
I thought we were just going to ruin the hype and fizzle out and let everyone
No,
fall asleep.
of course
No, no,
not.
no.
We-
All right,
we
well,
need-
it is time for 33rd to
Not
40th
yet.
then, where we have 10 teams, which means 2 need to either go down or one team actually needs two teams need to go up, actually. So
Yeah.
we need a team
Yeah,
to come
why not
down
that?
from nowhere. We need
Like-
2 teams to come down?
No one to come down.
Alright.
2 to go.
No, just
up.
2
no,
up
no,
and
we
1
need two
down.
up.
They only need to go up. Teams
So
only
2
need to
up
go
and 1
except for
down.
fifth, sixth.
Okay.
The
I
only-
may
the only team
have
that needs to go down to
missed a
fifth,
couple of
sixth
teams. If I have missed a team and you spot them down there, please let me know, because I think there should be 3 more teams in DNQ that we don't have. But there's also only two extra teams in 33 to 40. So
We did speed
chat,
run.
shout out if I
Probably-
miss.
I don't
didn't
see
some
Bosnia
anywhere.
and
I
I
Arizona.
don't
Maybe
see
even down
Georgia. I don't see.
I don't see
Yeah,
Georgia,
Macau.
Macau, or Bosnia. I think it's those
Yeah, I think it's
three.
those
I think we
three.
skipped those. Yeah.
Those were the ones that we
Because we
sped
speed
for
run in a row.
I like.
okay.
I'm gonna put in a
And that's
put in a
that's
vote
those
for,
teams. So that checks out now. Okay. So yeah, we
Sweet,
got
okay.
2 to move up.
I'm gonna put in a vote for Argentina. I think. I think they're on the border, but I think in my mind Argentina, Netherlands are the 2 I would move up personally. But I don't know. I think there's quite a few that would be reasonable.
I had Netherlands. I really don't think Netherlands moves up. I feel like it's
Fair.
okay. I had in 25-32. I actually had Argentina and Uruguay and Vietnam all in top 32. I think any of those
think
3
Vietnam,
teams would
Uruguay.
make a lot of sense.
I
now-
would agree with Argentina.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds like
I was gonna go New Zealand, Netherlands.
Oh shit,
Okay.
we're all
Oh,
over the
Lord.
place. What the hell?
Shiba.
Can we?
Any thoughts so far?
Can
We've got
we? Can
3 for
we?
Argentina.
For
Wait,
me,
can we
I
use the
think-
numbers?
I think Vietnam should go up, and I think both Argentina and Uruguay are fair to go up. I think Uruguay more over Argentina, just because Uruguay have a much stronger 3-person core.
Okay.
Okay,
How
let's
many-
do it this way. Let's do it this way.
Okay.
Argentina, if you're in favor of Argentina, vote first on your rating now.
Boss.
If
Vote
you're in
first,
favor of,
vote first on your
Argentina
rating if you're in
moving
favor
up,
of Argentina
put it in
moving
first.
up.
Click
Okay,
the
If
first
you
yeah.
one.
don't, then don't do
There we
anything.
go.
Yeah, or DNQ.
Looks that's
first
we
for
got the
DNQ.
majority, so I think Argentina is moving up. I mean, it
All right.
it sounds to me, TNG, unless you have other teams
I
on
mean,
the shed,
doesn't-
it sounds like it's
doesn't
between
matter.
Netherlands and Vietnam.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, we can just take a vote. Put first for Vietnam, second if you want Netherlands, and we'll see who gets the majority.
That's fair. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh, tie so far. It could be a coin
Vietnam
flip.
or Netherlands.
Wait, it's
First,
No.
for Vietnam,
first
second
for
for
Vietnam,
Netherlands.
second
Well,
for Netherlands.
First, if you think Vietnam should move up. Second, if you think Netherlands should move up.
Yep.
Okay.
Vietnam.
Okay, it's Vietnam moving up.
I think it should be Vietnam. Def power.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Um,
and
okay.
that means we can finally move on to the one everybody's been waiting for. And I think it's fair to say, to start out, I think from the discussions we had on the teams, I think it's fair to say Germany is the team that everybody agrees should be 5-6. So I think it's going to be between UK, Canada for 7.
It's 50-50.
It has to be Canada. It has
think
to be
it's
Canada.
Canada.
There's
So-
no way UK.
Okay,
So
let's do it the same
thing.
way.
First for UK, second for Canada for moving down. So vote
for
which
moving
team you think
down.
needs
Oh
to move
shit!
down.
Wait!
First,
wait,
if you think the UK moves down, second if you think Canada moves down.
Guys, come on! Surely.
I had to make sense of that. That was a
I'm
weird-
tough. I'm conflicted. This is so tough.
I'm also conflicted. On one hand, Canada bias, but on the other hand, UK is a solid
Guys,
team
UK
this year.
got top 4 last year with way stronger teams, and they have an objective net buff this year.
Shiba,
Come
you're
on.
making me want to pick the UK to go down.
Me too,
Just
Shiba. You're
right?
not saying I
What
don't want
the
to hear any
fuck?
more from
I
you.
would do it out of spite, even though I
Guys.
love the guys on the UK team, but I gotta go with my better judgment. I gotta.
Thank you.
Well,
Oh my
since
God.
my vote doesn't matter, I can be the biased vote.
Also,
I
they
have
did
to
not
be
get
honest,
top
like
4
you-
last
you
year. I'm just
agree?
going to correct
I-
that. They were top 6. They did not
They
get
were
top
not
4,
top
sir.
4, yeah, no.
I don't
love-
care. We should have beaten Germany.
Fourth
that
place
time.
was
I
Germany.
don't care.
Co-parter,
Bro,
bro.
you were
This is
not
just so
close.
tough. This is
It's
just
not
so
close.
tough because they both
Germany-
have so much potential.
If Mamu didn't fuck his hand, we would have had that.
I think
you.
Canada
Cool.
just
That-
there's so
that's-
much
I'm
uncertainty.
sorry, bro.
Huge.
You know what? I
Huge.
welcome the opportunity for Canada's newer players to turn heads and push into that 5th, 6th spot, but I think there's just so much that could happen with 6 new players, even if some of them are returning.
Yeah, I do
So
actually
tough.
agree with you guys. I think I would give UK slightly higher odds, as much as it hurts me to say. But since my vote doesn't matter, we can fanboy for Canada.
It
Feels
literally
good.
depends on who
Exactly.
sleeps better the night before between these teams. Like I feel
Yeah.
like it's so
And it's
close.
also, I think the thing with this kind of top 5 to 7 is it's very bracket and pool dependent. I think Canada could easily beat the UK if they get a favorable pool, vice versa. If any of these teams run into like Germany earlier on in the bracket, they could end 7 to 8. If UK runs into Germany, could be unfortunate for them, and really true for Canada as well. So I think regardless of the final predictions, I think most of us are in agreement that it's going to be incredibly close between these teams, except for Shiba, who's got some crazy takes on the UK.
No. Okay. Listen. Come on.
And
Shiba's
that
take on the-
is the
Shiba's-
full circle prediction
let's go, there
stream,
we
guys.
go.
That's kind of right. That's kind of right.
Oh, well
That's the
done,
full
everybody.
circle
We made
prediction
it.
stream.
That took approximately
3
2:45
hours.
2.5
this year.
hours. 2.5
Wait,
hours. We started
honestly,
half an hour late.
That's similar length to the last one. We had an extra person.
better than last year.
Better than last year.
Better than
There
last
are
year.
improvements, but thank you to everyone for watching. It's been 2 hours and 45 minutes that we've been live. This is the finals prediction stream. Share it, pass it around, do whatever you want to do. Clip us, make us look like
Wait,
fools, or make us look
wait.
awesome. Doesn't matter.
Should we all like
Wait,
put
everyone
down
make a face
us?
for the screenshot.
Wait,
Make a
true,
face for the
true.
screenshot.
Wait, do
Thumbnail,
we clip pics?
thumbnail.
Do we clip pics?
Thumbnail.
Sunglasses.
Do we clip pics?
Sunglasses.
Wait, I'm clearing pics. I'm clearing pics. so we
My
can do
sunglasses
thumbs
are
up.
in my car. Sorry.
My sunglasses
Yeah, I
are
don't
in
have-
my
I don't have any.
pocket.
There we go.
Oh.
Wait,
All right,
Locked
what
in.
are
Yo,
these
I
faces we're
played.
talking about?
Take the picture,
There's your
baby.
pic.
Get it in.
I don't have
Soak
my
it in,
shades.
chat.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Surely that's
That's
fine.
it. That's
all right,
enough.
Thank you for letting us get that done,
All
chat.
right, you're
Appreciate you all
welcome.
showing up
You're
today.
welcome.
Join not us here on Corsace. We will be back. Some of the people in this stream right now live on OSU Live tomorrow, 22 UTC. We've got the qualifiers reveal, so the actual seedings of these teams, followed by the random group draws and the group stage map pool showcase, which is going to start at 0 UTC. I apologize to every European who is here.
What the
Going to be
hell,
extremely late. My apologies, but we've got to keep it in order. So please join us on OSU Live tomorrow. Thank you all for watching, and everyone who has joined us on the stream here today. Feel free to screenshot this as usual, and we will see you all on OSU Live tomorrow.